What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Fortnite and Star Wars. We talked about this a couple of months ago when they announced the Star Wars is coming to Fortnite, and I said, watch people make Battlefront inside of Fortnite. It's happening. So we're going to talk about that, the update that's happened in Fortnite, and what the community is doing with Fortnite, bringing Battlefront 3 basically to life. We're going to watch a video from Bombtastic about that as well. We're also going to talk about Crimson Desert. We have a couple videos of Crimson Desert. We have Force Gaming talking about, we really need to talk about Crimson Desert. We're going to watch that. We're going to talk about Crimson Desert sells 3 million copies in just 5 days. We're talking about Pearl Abyss is doing what almost no studio has with Crimson Desert. And then we're going to talk about, or show one more video about a new content creator that we've came across just yesterday when I was watching. And I was like, you know what? We're going to watch this tomorrow on stream. It's from AVV Gaming 1. He has a video called Crimson Desert is the New Skyrim. I watched the first couple of minutes of it, and I was like, you know what? We're going to watch that on stream. I think he's got something. I think he's cooking. So if you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Eclipse, Altern, Aku, Travis, Just Enough, Sarge, Jesse Mack. Who am I missing? First, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Jason, what's going on? Ghost Wolf, what's going on? If I missed you, I'm sorry. Roic, there you are. I see you.
Turn 14 celebrates 29 months of membership. Crimson Desert for the win. Gutty. Also, I will vote for Aku for president. Make gaming great again.
There you go. Make gaming great again. Altar, thank you very much for the continued support. Appreciate you. All right, let's start off with a small story here first, and then we'll go into Fortnite. Nintendo, this is from Kotaku, who we hate, but it's a news story. Nintendo is slashing Switch 2 production by a third after poor U.S. sales. Now, again, people keep telling me these things are flying off the shelf, and I tell you guys all the time, I go to Costco, and I just see them just there. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the little pamphlet, the things that you pick up and bring to the counter so you can purchase it. And they say they're flying off the shelf, but apparently they're not flying off the shelf. And here's the point. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So Nintendo is slashing Switch 2 production by a third after poor U.S. sales. Okay, according to a report from Bloomberg, Nintendo is dramatically lowering its production plans for Switch 2 after weak U.S. sales. The paper says that the sales of the console over the holiday season fell short of expectations, and as a result, Nintendo is slashing the number of Switch 2s it plans to build this quarter by a third, from 6 million to 4 million. Predicting markets at the moment is closer to soothsaying that in informed speculation, but Nintendo hopes were clearly by extraordinary success during the Switch 2's launch. The console sold an eye-watering 3.5 million units in the first 4 days on sale, and then hit 10 million over the following 4 months, making the most popular console launch of all time. But the right ahead of the holiday season, console sales flatlined across the board, having previously outsold the original Switch beat for beat, Switch 2 suddenly lagging far behind across the first Christmas, a full 35% lower in the U.S. While there's also no explanation. What do you mean there's no explanation? What do you mean there's no explanation? The explanation is that the console costs more than the last Switch by like $200, right? And costs are up everywhere. People can't afford, right? So the first thing that goes for people when they are short on cash is the entertainment part. What are we talking about? No clear explanation. He thought likely to be a combination of tougher economy, no shit, and the significantly higher prices of consoles thanks to said economy of Trump's tariffs. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's the tariffs. And the lack of the big new game to push Switch 2s out the door. How about that? Yeah. There's no Switch games. You had the Mario Kart. You just had Pokemon. It just came out, right? The Poketopia, whatever. For God's sakes. Without a new Zelda, no mainline Pokemon, or a continued bizarre absence of major Mario title for the device, there's a sense that the Switch 2 is just a bit less essential. In February, Nintendo's stock took a nosedive despite the remained strong sales for the new console, even if it fell short the highest expectations. At the time, the 11% drop was pretty mysterious, but arbitrary to fears over the continued tariff, and increasing cost of RAM GPUs. But now you might wonder if the investors could smell what is coming. With today's news and Nintendo's decision to manufacture a third fewer Switches after today's reporting, shares fell 6.3% in Tokyo. America disappoints, and really does seem that U.S. is especially hurting Nintendo. Sales in Japan are very strong, demand often exceeding supplies. While Europe isn't overperforming, it's not particularly below hopes either. But the U.S. just doesn't seem to have expected love for the console sequel, the PlayStation 5 continuing to outperform of the Switch 2, despite being 6 years old and not exactly overwhelmed of its own exclusives. This is what people don't understand. I don't understand why these companies don't understand. The Switch 1 is the second largest selling console of all time. It just surpassed 155 million. It'll probably beat the PlayStation, by just maybe like 1 million or something like that, 500,000, but it will surpass it, I think, for the all-time gaming system. Why do companies just blindly look at this and go, oh, well, no one's buying? You had the largest gaming system ever. These people all don't buy the next system. It takes 5 years for the next person to move in. Look at PlayStation, look at Xbox. Both of them. 50% of the player base that was on PlayStation 4, over 50%, it's 57%, did not move over to PlayStation 5. 57% of the players that own a PlayStation 4 never came over to PlayStation 5. It's like 48% of Xbox users that have an Xbox One, never came over to Xbox Series S or X. There's even people that are stuck on the 360 that never came over to the One, that never came over, right? They're still on the 360. They're still on the PlayStation 3. There are so many people that take their time buying consoles because I don't have time. I don't want to have it, right? We are so blinded, us, because we talk about this every single day. We are gamers. We play stuff all the time. But there's a much larger community that doesn't play games like us. And these developers, these manufacturers, they're confused. They're well, no one's buying the system. Well, yeah, because they just bought the system, right? For $250, the Switch 1. Hence why now it's, $450, $500? So you raise it $150, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to go buy the used copy of a used edition of the Switch 1. It's mind-boggling to me that they're all like this. It's as if anything, the Pokemon is preventing the situation from being any worse. Pokemon Legends Z through A gave the console something to push towards the end of 2025, and Poketopia has performed a lot better than expected over the last month. Yet neither appears to have enough to prop up the planned production. Bloomberg quotes strategists saying that this hardware shortfall is its first year during the big holiday season. It's awful news, adding clearly the software lineup has been poor. Nintendo operates it famously privately, and leaks of what it's also been worked on are surprisingly rare. So there's also no hint of exactly why the Switch 2 launched with a completely wonderful Donkey Kong title instead of a new Super Mario, nor any notion of how the company plans to follow The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. First of all, when we talk about, remember, they sold the most systems. The fastest selling to 10 million units ever of any video game system. So they're ahead of production, right? The corporate salute, right? They're ahead of the game because they've sold the most ever they've ever done before. But now they're well, it's down. We're down 6%, blah, blah, because of their expectations. But their expectations is not what actual brings in the stuff. They think they're going to get 150 million people in the first. No. There was actually a report that we actually went over, and they said they only were expecting. They thought they were going to sell 14 million. Then they brought it down to 9 million, but they sold 10. Right? So Nintendo lowballed their number, then they surpassed that number, and now they're telling you that they're not doing very well. What? Explain that to me, chat. This is why no means disaster of the Switch 2 has also sold extremely well. Nintendo still looks like to hit the target of 20 million sales over the first year. And the initial performance gave the company a big head start. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like we're morons. They think we're morons. They're like, oh yeah, they're down, right? No, they're ahead of the game. But we got a corporate salute. Okay. But right now the graphs are pointing in the wrong direction. And it feels like something needs to happen pretty soon to prevent this from getting worse. What getting worse? If they just maintain, right? If they just maintain and sell, I don't know, minimal viable product for the next 6 years, they'll still surpass the sales of the Switch 1. Right? They're such ahead that they'll stay the same. But see, corporate companies have to make more. And if they don't make more, then it's a failure. Right? It doesn't make any sense. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Are you interested in a Nintendo Switch 2? Are you going to buy one down the road? Are you waiting for a certain game? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching. It makes no sense to me, chat, that especially Kotaku is just reporting on what Bloomberg reported on, right? To tell me that poor Switch 2 sales, they're ahead. They're ahead of the game, but there's poor sales in the United States, but even though they sold the most in the world, they're like, well, the sales are low in the United States. Okay, but your sales are up other places, correct? Hence why you have the most sales ever for any console ever in the first year ever. Like, I don't understand. They'll tell you that it's the poor sales, but at the same time, have the best sales ever. Think about that. Best sales ever, lowest numbers ever. Less than, greater than. So United States is down, but the world is up. Failure. Like, what are we talking about? Waterbear says, 30, discovering new stuff you can do every time in Crimson. Just found out that you can also hide under a moving carriage and hitch a ride. What? I swear to God, this game is... I know that sounds like so minute. You're like, okay, big deal. That is so cool. Like little things like that. We're going to watch a video, and AVV Gaming says something, even in the beginning of the game, in the video. I haven't watched past the first 4 minutes. But he says something, and I'm like, he's spot on what this game is. Right? He's spot on what the game is. We're going to go watch that in a little bit. Okay. Ghostfire says, nope, not interested in anything Nintendo anymore. Travis says, because he knows the truth, there's two countries in the world, America and not America. Yeah, right. Yeah, everybody else in the world is selling well, but not America. But America isn't. All right, let's move on from the Nintendo stuff to Fortnite stuff. All right, we broke this down last year when they talked about they were bringing, because they had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in there, right? They brought Airbender in there. They brought Squid Games inside, and then they announced that they were bringing Star Wars. And when they announced it, I said, "Holy Christ!" I said they are going to make Battlefront 3 inside of Fortnite when they first showed it. Okay. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover stories. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Right? So Star Wars tools now live for Fortnite developers. Create your galaxy today. Okay, so for the first time ever, Fortnite developers can create Star Wars-inspired islands in the Unreal Editor for Fortnite. The Fortnite Creative using curated assets and tools from the largest IP toolset to date. It includes all Star Wars templates, tools, gameplay features, along with character locations, vehicles, weapons from the past Fortnite Battle Royale seasons. Mix, match, and build your own Star Wars experience for players to explore. Okay. Let's watch this. Actually, let's go here and watch this. have those in the Battle of Hoth. All right, so there's the tools. Okay, there's the tools that you can use. We'll stop that. On May 1st, you'll be able to publish Star Wars Island through Creator Portal, and Star Wars Game Collection page will launch in Discover. Star Wars Islands will be eligible for additional Discovery placement, including Epic's picks, so don't forget to submit them. Okay, so you got a couple different little biomes that you can bring in. You got, looks like Naboo, Tatooine, Hoth, and then you got space battles. 4 Star Wars Starters Island are available to help you take your players to immersive journeys through space, icy tundras, Hoth, sandy dunes, and Tatooine, and the lava fields of Navarro. 2 Star Wars flat grid islands are also available for Fortnite Creative. Bring your islands to the next level, okay, with the visual effects making it easier to create large-scale moments for dogfights, astrofields, and also dramatic hyperspace entrance and exit sequences. Expand your environment with Star Wars-themed galleries inspired by iconic locations from films, including the Death Star, Tatooine, Cantina, Resistance Base, background assets like the Star Destroyer. Add scale while props also table, sabacc table, sand crawlers help complete the scene. Okay. You've got the lightsaber builder, force power template. Learn your customization of lightsabers and scene graphics. Use the force power's special gameplay abilities like push, heal, mind trick. And the template also features a crafting workbench where players can modify their characters' force powers as well as the appearance of the lightsabers. Team Conquest template. Set during a battle of the planet Tatooine, templates show new features like hero device, spawning systems, and support large-scale battles. Set in Tatooine Cantina, the template uses NPC characters and new conversation devices functionality, dive into roleplay, and build an immersive narrative. You got characters, weapons, and music as well. Bring your legendary characters to your island, including Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Chewbacca, the Mandalorian, Princess Leia, and more. Expand your worlds while the wide variety of new Rebel Alliance characters, plus civilian stormtroopers, Jawas, all right, vehicles. Players can also soar through the skies in the N1 starfighters alongside X-Wings and TIE fighters, which update from Fortnite Battle Royale, and also new features, secondary fire options. Also, AT-ATs, okay, let players also take the fight to the ground. Tune vehicles through their respective spawner devices and customize your fleet the way you see fit. Weapons. Equip your weapons. Players in over 25 iconic Star Wars weapons, including character-specific lightsabers, Luke, Rey, Obi-Wan, Kenobi, Darth Vader, and more. Blasters and Wookiee Bowcaster, Turbo Blaster, and DF9 turrets. You got the music in there as well. Star Wars gameplay tools, lightsaber and force power customization. Design custom lightsabers from the hilts to the blade styles and blade colors using scene graphs. Custom items inventory system, and currently experimental feature. You got hero device. Enable players to transform into Star Wars heroes and villains, including Darth Vader, Mandalorian, Rey, Skywalker, Chewbacca, Emperor Palpatine, Leia. Harness their unique powers and abilities. The Mandalorian jetpack, take off with that. Okay, you have the UI updates and fonts. More tools, features coming soon. First-person support for weapons and custom items inventory. Okay, so you have all this, and now we're going to watch Boomtastic's video of what's going on here. All the links in the description down below. If you guys like it, go to their channel, check them out, give them a subscribe. Okay, so this is Bombtastic talking about the Fortnite update. What's going on, Craig?
The current situation with Star Wars Fortnite is kind of crazy considering the implications it could have on the future of Star Wars games and on the future of Star Wars Battlefront. The news I've learned today about the Star Wars...
First off, we actually said this. We actually said, like, the minimal viable product, right? Look at, excuse me, look at what EA is doing. EA obviously makes Battlefront. Star Wars licensed it to them or whatever, and they make the game. And they're like, well, why should we pay somebody, right? Why should we pay somebody to make just Battlefront when we can pay Epic $2 billion to give them our license and logos and the characters, and then we have people make the maps for us. They make the matches for us, right? I saw this happening. When we saw the Turtles thing, I was like, dude, can you imagine if they gave the other IPs to it? And here it is, right? This is exactly what they're doing.
Fortnite event, which has been running for the past month, is certainly not something I was expecting, but is something part of me is pleased to see, and is basically an outcome of this entire Fortnite event being completely Star Wars themed, changing the map, changing all weapons, and forcing all Fortnite players to play Fortnite as something of a Star Wars game. But seemingly as a result of this, the last month has seen the...
Jesus. All-time peak 6 months ago, 14 million. 14 million. 14 million 6 months ago? Jesus Christ.
Fortnite player count hit its lowest point since 2023. So not only are more people playing Battlefront 2, and we've had more players playing Battlefront 2 than any other time in the last 5 or 6 years, but Fortnite's Star Wars themed event has also seen a lot less people playing Fortnite.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
Also, if you are playing Fortnite or buying anything on Epic Games, consider using my creator code Bombastic. Hey everyone, it's Andrew.
No, use 30 NSG.
But the reason this could be good for the future of Star Wars games and the future of the Battlefront franchise is basically because it's showing Lucasfilm, it's showing Disney that Star Wars players don't necessarily want to play themed events in other games. They want dedicated Star Wars games, such as Battlefront 3. If you have a sec,
Correct.
Please write in the comments of this video Battlefront 3. Spread the word, continue to do so. Let's make this thing happen.
Yes, master.
But basically, because the player count is down in Fortnite and less people are playing this Star Wars season than other seasons, it's showing the game devs, it's showing the publishers that even though these events can be fun, perhaps it's not for everyone. Perhaps there is also a lot of value in making dedicated Star Wars experiences like Battlefront 3. Now, there could be a number of reasons that the Fortnite player base is low this month. First of all, I just think not everyone is into Star Wars. The Fortnite player count will likely go up again next season when all the Star Wars stuff is gone from the game, and maybe some people don't like dealing with the TIE fighters, the X-Wings, or even just don't like the Star Wars theme. But also, I think part...
Is this video old or new? Oh, this is 9 months ago. Oh, I was like, the way he's talking is, we don't need to watch this. Hold on, let me get another one. I was like, it sounds like. Battlefront 3 is being made in Fortnite by fans. Here you go.
Versions of a theoretical... In this Star Wars Gaming news update video, I'm going to be sharing with you how Battlefront 3 is coming, but it's going to be in Fortnite, and I'm going to be explaining why. This is a humongous moment for Star Wars Gaming because you are going to be able to create your very own Star Wars games, including take advantage of Battlefront modes that have been pre-made within Fortnite and import levels from Battlefront and all kinds of other stuff. There is no Battlefront 3 from EA, DICE, or any other company. There isn't going to be an official Battlefront 3. However, fans are working together right now to make their own Battlefront 3. So there are going to be many different versions of a theoretical Battlefront 3 within Fortnite. Before we do dive into all of today's news...
I think this is cool, but at the same time, I want Battlefront 3. Right? I want Battlefront 3. I don't want Fortnite Battlefront. Would it be cool for a weekend? Sure. But I don't want Battlefront, like, I want an actual Battlefront experience.
So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future Star Wars gaming news updates. So, last night, Epic Games announced that Star Wars would be coming to the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, otherwise known as UEFN. Plus, it's also going to be made available within Fortnite Creative. Official assets, be it props, music, characters, and more, from Star Wars, all officially licensed, will be able to be used by you to create your own game. Right now, you can dive in and start crafting your own experiences, including Star Wars Battlefront modes, and all of these will be able to be published publicly for free to anyone to play from May 1st, so just before Star Wars Day. As you can see on screen right now, you are able to take assets that Epic have created for Star Wars content within Fortnite already, but also brand new stuff like the AAT.
Yeah, but Craig, we're talking about. Have you played Battlefront 2 recently? Have you played Battlefront 2 recently? There was nothing wrong with Battlefront 2 except that they had the loot mechanic in the game, which they changed before the game actually launched because people pushed back during the beta, right? Battlefront 2 is one of the better games out there after all the updates and everything they've done over the years. And if they made a Battlefront 3 based on what Battlefront 2 was, it'll be fantastic, right? It was the loot boxes that were in Battlefront that people had an issue with, not the game itself.
Full pilotable vehicle that you can use on a large-scale mode called Conquest. Yes, that's right. Epic have created Conquest in Fortnite for Star Wars, and you are able to have these large-scale trooper, vehicular, and heroes versus villains gameplay, which is very exciting for those that want the classic Battlefront experience, but with new content from things like The Mandalorian.
My problem with this, with Fortnite, is that you're stuck on these like small little islands. You could never have a bigger island. You can't connect. Well, you can, but it's like through a portal type of thing where you can go to another island. But I hate the size of the islands.
Actually created Navarro as a playable map. But that's not all, because this is effectively the Unreal Engine. People are porting things over, and there is work being done right now to bring over maps like Utapau into the game.
Yeah, but you're thinking, Craig, that you're thinking Battlefront is made by EA. Battlefront is owned, right? Well, I should say Star Wars. I don't need a Battlefront 3. I need a Star Wars game like Battlefront from any developer that wants to make it. Right? If Disney wants someone to make it, just put it out there and say, who wants to make the next Battlefront or the next Star Wars Battlefront-esque type of game, right? You don't have to make it. Like if Saber picked it up and Saber wanted to make a Star Wars Battlefront game, I'd be good with that.
Or the iconic Bespin Platforms map from the original Battlefront game. This opens up so many incredible possibilities, and I think some people are underestimating what the community are going to be able to do. Just take a look at this. Someone has created a Vader hallway scene right
from
here
Rogue One
with a bunch of rebels, and you get to play as Darth Vader using a bunch of different force powers. You will be able...
Yeah, but the problem with this, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, okay? But it's short-lived. Like you play this, you jump into Fortnite, you're like, oh my God, it's really cool. I went through the Rogue One hallway scene. It's cool. But that's it. You're like, okay, what's next?
To use the force powers that we've already seen within Fortnite, but also they've added even more at your disposal, and you can edit them to be however you want them to be. You can use a Mandalorian jetpack to fly around the maps and enjoy a view or take down enemies from the sky. There is the ability to pilot starfighters, leave capital ship hangars and go into light speed, and then take out other capital ships. This is something that Battlefront fans have been asking for a very long time. You can create both multiplayer game modes, but also narrative experiences. There will be over 100 NPCs that you can use to populate an island. These include 60 variations of galactic civilians, 30 Mandalorians, 60 moon traders, 70...
You can make a good horde mode. Like you're rebels, and you just have waves and waves of stormtroopers coming at you, and you have to hold them off.
Rebel troopers, including the brand new Endor trooper, stormtroopers, Jawas, and even rideable Tauntauns as well. The Mandalorian's M1 Starfighter is also a new vehicle added, plus we have the various turrets as well to place in different parts of the map. In terms of weaponry, you have all the lightsabers that we've seen within Fortnite so far as...
Well, it is going to be free, Aku. It's people making... Eclipse, because people are making the games and they put it... So like right now, if you go into Fortnite, you can play the Teenage Ninja Turtles stuff that people made, or Squid Game stuff that people made. But the problem is, do you have to buy the skins to use the skins? I don't know.
As well as over 25 iconic blasters and items. These include the Westar 34 blaster pistols, the IQA-11, and more. There is just so much going on. You are just going to be able to use whatever Star Wars weapon you basically want. And there is also a limited selection of vehicles, but still, it's something. LA-ATs, Lambda-class shuttles, things like that. Now, a very interesting development is the use of officially licensed music, specifically most of it coming from John Williams himself. There is a track list of music that you'll be able to use from the Star Wars films and shows in your creations. It is a limited timed thing, so you won't be able to use these. I don't know how long for, they haven't given a date, but it is limited time because this is licensed.
If it's limited time, don't use it at all.
Epic have had to pay for, but you will get Ray's theme, the Cantina Band music, Battle of the Heroes, Duel of the Fates, March of the Resistance, the Imperial March, Princess Leia's theme, Yoda's theme, and more. There is also a wide selection of prefabs and galleries pre-made by Epic to use. These are a variety of ones themed for Navarro, Tatooine, Hoth, and more. Something else I don't think people are talking enough about is the fact that they've effectively taken the Jedi Survivor layout of lightsaber customization and put it into
you can make your own
Fortnite.
lightsaber.
You can see here there is a workbench, and there is options to the left. Even the text and font is the same in the same location. You can customize the hilt, customize the kyber crystal color, what force ability it can bring with it, the stability of the blade, and also its arcing. Is this a true replacement for Star Wars Battlefront and a Battlefront 3? No, it isn't, because Fortnite feels completely different and...
Right. No matter what you do, it's still Fortnite, though.
Ultimately, whatever people can create will still lack so much of what makes Battlefront in the back end. That said, at its core, there will be some people that will be very happy just to play this, to play with characters not seen in the Battlefront games. Like,
this is one of those things that I would go into and just walk around and be like, man, I wish this was an actual game, and not just a game mode in another game. You know what I mean?
The Mandalorian and such, and play with bots, play with other people, play with maps that they've not played on for 20 years, make use of so much stuff. Ultimately, it's down to you what you want to create. It's down to the fans to come up with whatever they want. There might be something better than what people are imagining of Battlefront 3 within Fortnite. What if something else even better does come out of this? We just don't know. It's very early days. I mean, tools have only been available for 1 day, and we'll just have to wait and see what the creativity.
I mean, it is pretty cool the way they're doing it.
Deliver. Personally, I'm not.
I wish you could change the graphics. I'll be honest.
The gunplay, the melee combat, and such. It feels horrible to me. I've never liked it. I played the pre-alpha all the way back in like 2014. I didn't like it back then, and I still don't like it now. It's never felt great to me, but ultimately this is the biggest game. There is like 40 million people playing every single month across PlayStation and Xbox.
14 million people.
The next game that comes close, not even that close, is GTA Online with around 22 million players every month. And that...
Think about that. Between Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto, they take almost 40 million players.
Also
Holy
accounts
shit.
for Steam players. The Fortnite number doesn't include Steam numbers or PC players, so you just have to remember that this game is still absolutely huge, and this is where the kids are playing. This is where a lot of people are playing. It's a free-to-play game, and you are now going to be able to create your own Star Wars narrative experiences or multiplayer games within Fortnite, and there is no Battlefront 3, so...
See, this is the problem that I have with Fortnite. So, for instance, let's say I'm playing the game. Obviously, people make their own islands and stuff like that. But if I'm playing a Star Wars match and all of a sudden I see Deadpool there, I understand it's a video game, but that breaks the immersion of Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem I have with Fortnite, that there's so many different things. Like, if it's just Star Wars related and you can only be Star Wars characters in the Star Wars mode, cool. If you could be another character, even a regular Fortnite, like what we're looking at right here, immersion completely broke.
This is naturally where people will be going. Do you have any ideas of what you want to create with this toolset? Let me know down in the comment section below. What are your hopes for what people end up doing? Be sure to comment below as well. Come May 1st, there will be a lot of experiences made with Star Wars content.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of people making stuff right now.
Fortnite.
So there you go. The Fortnite stuff is interesting to me. I played Fortnite this weekend with my son. My son wanted to play, and he asked my wife to play. And it was funny because me and my son play. We play every once in a while. New season started, so he wanted to play the season. And he's like, "Dad, can we pull Mom through?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" You know. So we started playing, and my wife, she's like, "I don't know what I'm doing." She's the, you know, she doesn't understand or anything, but she likes to play. So as a family, we went in with a trio, and the first match we won. Now, obviously, we're playing against bots and real people and stuff like that, but like me and my son are having a competition who can get more eliminations and whatnot, so it's fun. Then we go back in for a second match, and my wife is literally just sitting in a car, and my son is so precious. No matter what we're doing, he's protecting his mom, right? So she's in a car. He drives her around. Okay, he jumps out, starts to fight everybody. Always protects her. It's the cutest goddamn thing. Okay, she got knocked down one time, and the storm came. My son ran into the storm, picked her up, carried her out of the storm on his back, and my wife was like, "Oh my God, he's saving me!" Right? So we won 4 matches in a row. 4 matches in a row, and we got put into the last 2 matches. We got put into because matchmaking or whatever. It was pretty sweaty. There was this one team that we killed. One guy lived, went back, revived his guys. They came back and attacked us, knocked 2 of us down. I clutched it, revived my son. He revived my wife, and we won that game as well. So really fun. It's a fun time hanging out with them and doing the stuff. It's just funny because my wife doesn't do anything. She's just literally just there to. It's like we call her the president, and we're just trying to protect the president. It's good times though. Yeah, must protect mom. Must protect mom. But when I tell you, he'll run. He'll make sure he hides her somewhere. He's like, go in this room. He like drops stuff for her. Like, here, heal. Here's a shield. It's the cutest goddamn thing. Jesse says it works well for them. This is a wake call. And then they also make Star Wars Battlefront 3. It's not very bad for them to make the decision about making Star Wars. They need to make a Battlefront 3. They need to make a Battlefront 3. There's so many people playing Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 is such a good game. It's what, 8 years old? 9, going on 9? That's because you instilled values in your kid? Yeah. Yeah. It really is. It really is fun watching him do it. It's in different things. Roadkill. Yeah. It's that he protects her there, which I love, by the way. But in other ways he'll cling on to me. All right, let's go. Let's read this first, then we'll go into some videos of Crimson Desert. So Crimson Desert sells 3 million copies in just 5 days. Now, I just want to put this out there that, look, we don't have to search the internet to try to figure out how many copies they've sold, right? We don't have to figure it out. So let's go to the Crimson Desert Steam charts. Right? So 248,000 people. They have about 1.45 million people playing on Steam. Okay? And obviously, we know the number now, and the number is 3 million. So there's 1.5 million people playing on console between Xbox and PlayStation or Epic. Okay? They told numbers. Imagine that. Everybody else is defending other games, trash nighting for games. They're like, yeah, it sold well. They're okay. It's amazing when a company is super happy about what they sold, and they just tell you, they're like, yeah, we sold 3 million copies. No hiding. No trying to, well, you don't know if they sold well. There's half the population over here. Okay, great. 3 million, 5 days. Crimson Desert has sold an impressive 3 million copies in just 5 days. Pearl Abyss open world action game launched on March 19th and sold 2 million copies in a day, and now sold an additional 1 million copies subsequent 4 days. We're grateful for share the Crimson Desert has sold over 3 million copies worldwide, Pearl Abyss said. To everyone who has stepped into Pyro. Now I have a question. Do you think that 3 million is above what they thought they were going to sell? I don't know. It'll go on to sell 5, 7. Easy. Okay. To everyone who also stepped into Pywell, Share the journey with us. Thank you. The feedback continues to help expand, shape the experience, and we will also keep working and making Journey ahead even more enjoyable for our players. Crimson Desert launched big on Steam with nearly 250,000 concurrent players, but it was also met with mixed user reviews, ratings, and value. What's their rating at now? 74%. So, or positive. 75% of the reviews are positive there. For example, PlayStation 5 owners joined forces to work on the cause of blurry visuals. The issue is also known as PC version. Meanwhile, Pearl Abyss saw a stock price plunge nearly 30% and was also seeing a reaction to review scores from critics. A day after, first of all, that's way too much power. If your critic score is down and your stocks crash because of it, that's way too much power for a journalism to be like, I don't like the game 0 out of 10 because it doesn't have rainbows in it, right? A day after launch, the company's stock fell to a further 9.78% despite the big launch sales. According to Korea Business Press, Pearl Abyss reportedly spent 7 years making Crimson Desert, with the development costs coming at $200 billion, won approximately $133 million. Okay, so that's 200 billion won, but 133 million. So let's do the math, shall we? 133 million. Okay, so let's do some math. So 133 million divided by 70. They need to sell 1.9 million copies. Okay, now that is just with the budget of the game. Now with the marketing they've done and whatnot, let's say they have to double that. Okay, so let's just say 133 million times 2 is 266 divided by 70. They need to sell 3.8 million copies to break even. So they're pretty damn close right now, and they'll do it, no problem. Okay, the longer this game comes out, the longer this game and what they're doing right now and fixing the problems with the controls and adding stuff and doing things, this number is just going to be going up higher and higher. Now, the concurrent player base might not go up, but it doesn't matter in a single-player game because you don't need anybody else to play the game with you, right? Selling point is that you can play the game offline. The selling point is that once you buy the game, it's a continuous, gigantic game that you can play multiple different ways, multiple different times. So this game is just going to go up in sales as it goes. So, however, Crimson Desert Steam reviews are improving, moving up to mixed and mostly positive as Pearl Abyss releases game-changing updates. Indeed, today, English reviews are now up to very positive, and Crimson Desert Metascore is at 78 with a user score of 8.1. Yesterday, a patch addressed keyboard and mouse control complaints and also improved control responsiveness with a promise of more to come. But made a long list of quality of life improvements, including additional of actual storage box. Huge change. That's just a small little change like that, putting a storage box that you can actually put stuff in, completely changed the game. We've got plenty of more Crimson Desert, including player. So there you go, right? But all the people that defend games, where's the sales, Marathon? Where's the sales? People are saying that certain things are not happening. They're like, well, you don't know. What's the sales? It's so simple to shut people up. All you have to do is show your sales. Now, they don't want to show their sales because if they show their sales, it would prove that they're not making sales, right? When you don't ask for sales, they come out and they're like, hey, we sold 3 million, right? Which is above. Again, I don't know if it's double the price. I'm going to say they've already made money, hence why they've now showed that they've sold 3 million copies because they've made their money back. When a company says how many copies they sold, usually they've made their money back or they're really close, and that coming out and telling you how many they've sold tells other people, it's like a little sonar going out there. They're like, hey, by the way, we sold 3 million copies. Wow, 3 million copies. Must be a good game. So people go out and buy the game. So there you go. You don't have to search the web to try to figure out if it's selling or not. Let me see what this is. All right. The next story we got is Pearl Abyss is doing what almost no studio has with Crimson Desert. Now, I think I know what they're going to talk about here. They're going to talk about how they basically changed the MMO into a single-player game. Well, there's plenty of games done. Wayfinder did it. Wayfinder was a multiplayer MMO type of game, and they've swapped it. Windrose was a multiplayer MMO, and now they've switched it to a co-op single-player game. Do you guys catch what's going to happen? You see what's happening right now in the gaming industry? Do you see what's happening with the gaming industry? People that are in mid-development with their video games for 6 or 7 years have now changed what they're doing because they see the light. Not everybody, okay? But they've seen the light. They look at it and say, wait a minute, maybe we should switch this. Look at Gotham Knights. Say what you want about Gotham Knights, but Gotham Knights was a live service game at one point. 100% was a live service game. Wasn't an MMO, but it was a live service game, and then they just made it a single-player game. Okay? I would think that Hogwarts Legacy at some point, this is more speculation, was a live service game at some point, and then they changed it to a single-player game. Right? These analysts, these statistics, all these people are talking about that games that are single-player don't sell well. Yet, some of the best-selling games of all time are single-player games. Right? Veilguard was supposed to be like an Anthem live service game, and it switched it. It just so happens that they, instead of making a video game, they pushed an agenda. It's sad, right? I think Avowed also was supposed to be some sort of co-op game as well, and then they switched that. So there's a lot of things that are changing. Some games can't make the shift because they're so embedded in what they're doing. So Pearl Abyss is doing what almost no studio has with Crimson Desert. Industry obsessed with chasing the next forever game, Pearl Abyss did something that almost feels backwards. While most studios are busy turning biggest ideas in live service design to keep players engaged for years, the developer stepped away from the model to deliver something far more contained that makes Crimson Desert stand out before it even considering the game actually is. Now, while most other studios usually push for single player into multiplayer and live service games, Pearl Abyss did something almost unheard of. After nearly a decade of running a massive live service success of Black Desert Studio released a large-scale, story-driven single-player experience in today's market, where recruiting revenue often drives design decisions and moves extremely rare. It immediately raises the question of why the studio would take such a risk in the first place. The decision also signals a confidence in the quality of experience itself, trusting players to engage deeply without needing ongoing hooks. The game itself is a hook, right? It is. Why most big studios are shifting towards multiplayer and live service. Modern game development is dominated substantially by sustainability. Single player games can sell millions of copies at launch, but live service titles generate revenue for years through updates, expansions, and ongoing player engagement. Well, I have something to tell you. No Man's Sky enters the room. No Man's Sky has been around for 9 years. Okay. Not a live service game, doesn't have any microtransactions, and yet they just keep making money. Make it make sense, chat. Okay. The difference has pushed countless studios to prioritize multiplayer experiences that evolve over time. The goal is no longer just to release a great game. Instead, the core objective is to keep players hooked and product of engagement indefinitely. The results of a juicy, continuous source of income that goes far beyond just paying the bills. Financial logic has become a driving force behind nearly every major AAA release today, shaping design choices from the ground up. And we talk about this all the time, right? Fundamentally, they change games. They build a game around a store instead of putting just making a game on the foundation of a game. This shift has transformed entire franchises. Studios that once focused tightly crafted single-player experiences, BioWare, for example, have gradually added multiplayer layers or shifted entire live service models. The reasoning is clear. A successful live service game can outperform multiple traditional release combined, turning one product into a long-term platform instead of a single sale. This has naturally created a market where recurring content, ongoing monetization feel mandatory. This approach also affects how the story are told, with a narrative often taking a backseat to systems designed for longevity rather than completeness. Over time, this approach also has started to feel like the industry's default. Players now expect a battle pass, seasonal events, consistent content drops, even traditional single-player franchises. It has made Pearl Abyss' decision with Crimson Desert even more unusual. Instead of following a predictable path towards live service, an intentional move in the opposite direction. The choice highlights how dare it even see a studio willing to prioritize player experience and narrative focus over financial certainty. Another game I just thought about is Towerborn. Towerborn just came out, and they were supposed to make that a live service multiplayer game. Now it's a co-op game that you can play with your friends, okay? But it's no more live service. Everything in the game is now earned within the game. Do you see the shift that's happening? Okay, and when games like this come out and the gamers pay and buy and enjoy games like this is what we'll get more of. You'll get more games like this, right? And I'm not saying like Crimson Desert, but you'll get a full, complete game. Now, you can say this game's not complete. It has bugs and glitches and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fundamental, what the game is. They made a game and they sold a game. They're not trying to microtransaction you every corner. There's no battle pass. There's nothing like that. Now, maybe do they add something down the road for online access? Maybe co-op play? Maybe they have a transaction store down the road? Who knows? Maybe. It is Pearl Abyss. But what Crimson Desert is a single-player game. You buy it, you own it, you play it. Crimson Desert single-player focus is a rare move in today's market. Stands out not just because of single-player, but because it followed Black Desert, a proven successful live service phenomenon. Most studios' Pearl Abyss position would also double down on what already worked, expand their multiplayer ecosystem to maximize recurring revenue. The path is safe, predictable, and widely used across the industry. Yeah, but how many people fail? That's what they're not going into this, right? There's a lot of people that fail at this. The path is safe, predictable, and widely also across the industry. By taking a different route, Pearl Abyss is proving that a bold, story-driven approach can still capture attention in the marketing dominant by ongoing engagement metrics. Hello? Baldur's Gate 3 came out 2 years ago. That is a single-player game. Why are we propping this game up? There's other games out there that people love. Expedition 33, single-player game. Instead of Pearl Abyss investing heavily in a narrative-driven experience and demands full attention from players, the game offers a cohesive story with a beginning, middle, and end, rather than stretching the content across years of updates. The decision reinforces a focus on quality, immersion, and over-monetization, something rarely seen in today's AAA market. By keeping the player's experience front and center, Crimson Desert positions itself as a unique alternative to the constant churn and live service games. And this is my speculation, but this is why I think that the news stories coming out nitpicking on this game, nitpicking on Baldur's Gate 3, nitpicking with Expedition 33. You notice how the narrative is. When games are single player and they come out and they're actually good and people are enjoying it, the media hates it. The narrative in the industry is no. You guys don't like single player games. This is just this is the oddball out. You need to like live service games. Live service games is what it is. Battle passes, right? Season passes. Look at this new cosmetic skin. This is what the industry wants to push towards you. So, of course, there's a risk involved. Single-player games rarely match live service titles in long-term revenue, and the studio had to ensure Crimson Desert would succeed in its own merits. Pearl Abyss demonstrated the ambition and design vision and outweigh purely financial calculations or even outright desire. With this release, the game now stands as a testament of the idea of a major developer can still choose to prioritize bold, self-contained experiences with its world-dominated live service expectations. The risk-taking also signals that the industry innovation and creativity can still compete with the safest business models. So I think they don't bring up the other games for a reason, because they're smaller companies like No Man's Sky, Towerborn, Wayfinder, Windrose not even out yet, right? A lot of people are switching from the MMO type of stuff. Hell, you could even look at Dune Awakening, right? Dune Awakening, they were supposed to be an MMO, but they kind of changed it to just a survival game halfway through development, right? There's been so many other games that have come out that were supposed to be live service games, and people keep telling me live service games are way more popular than anything else. Yeah, because the industry keeps telling you that the live service games are more popular than anything else. But gamers that actually play games that are single-player games, that they just buy the game, play the game, put the game down, and move on to the next game, know what they want to play. And they want to play complete games. They want to play games that they don't have to check in, do a checklist, or come back, every single day of the week so they can get the bonus thing at the end of the day. They just want to buy the game, play the game, and move on. But the industry doesn't want you to do that. The industry wants you to stay. They want you to stay focused. They want you to stay in Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield's going into that direction, right? They want you to stay in Roadblocks. They want you to constantly keep in the thing. Buy this, get that. That's what the industry wants. That's the narrative. That's what the people that pay the bills, the corporate Pay the outlets. The outlets keep making articles. The articles keep telling you that, oh, live service games, battle passes, updates, roadmaps. Right? That's what happens. Titan says strong sense of AI in this article. Is there? You got N dashes. No M dashes. Roic says it's a fluke. Well, then why does the fluke keep happening? Right. Waterbear says the game is a fantasy version of Red Dead to me, and this is how I play it, and I love every minute of it. I'm absolutely loving the entire thing. The entire thing. Eric Jones says, I ended up getting Crimson Desert. So far, so good. Take your time. And again, Eric, I know it's super hard to do in this day and age with the internet and stuff. Just enjoy the game. You'll come across a puzzle. You'll come across something. And it's going to get frustrating. Like last night we did a boss battle, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't getting frustrated. I must have died, 15 times? And I was like, I don't know what to do. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing, so I take a step back. And that's what I like. The satisfaction about the game of when you do complete something, you're like, yes, it feels so old school. It feels so good. Waterbear says playing cinematic settings on CPU at 100 frames per second is epic. He also says the world looks stunning. Where you see, you can go. I've been up to the highest points of the mountain, man. It's so good. Aku says the industry talks about single player like Travis talks about Elden Ring. It's obviously horrible, and no one plays it. Jason says Epic Games laid off 1,000 employees. Does that just happen? Did that just happen? Waterbear says waterfalls hide the best treasures. Eclipse says you need 120 hertz monitor balance. Looks so good, and it tries it on the Xbox, and I feel like it's like 50 frames per second. I'm going to have to plug it out of my TV and put it into my monitor, because my monitor is 120 hertz, but my television doesn't. Or maybe it does, and I have to go to the settings. I have to go look at that. It's the Red Mist guy. I don't know the guy's name. I think it's the Red Mist. It was like a triangle, and it has this like mist. It's like a mist monster. That's the one I was having problems with last night. I had him down a little less than half. I used all my 100. I had six revives that full health, and then I used another 5 of the 30% ones. The thing is, this let me tell you how I was fighting him. Okay. One, I didn't know how to get him down. Then I had my grapple thing, and I grabbed him, and he slammed down to the ground. And once he got down to the ground, I started hitting him, and I was doing really good damage to him. But I couldn't get him back. So every time I grabbed him, I didn't know how to get him back down to the ground. And I know this is a 100% player problem, because I was like, what controls do I do to slam him down? Because once you have the grapple, it's just push, pull, up, down type of stuff. And I don't know if I'm missing something, right? So just say this. Don't tell me how to do it, but was I correct? Eclipse said I was doing it correctly where I was grabbing him. I don't want to tip. I just want you to let me know, is the grapple the way? Just say yes or no. Is that the way to do it? I guess that would be a tip, but just because I know what I did. Because I was grabbing him. No, I don't take gummies at all. I don't do any of that. That's one way, but not the best way. All right. That's all you need to tell me. That's all you need to tell me. Don't tell me anymore. Right? Because I want to figure it out. Because when I figure it out, I try to do the force push, and I couldn't hit him. Yeah. Don't tell me. I'm gonna go back and play it this afternoon, and I'm gonna try it again. Because it's almost like a puzzle solving, like because you can see him like form up, like it's sort of like Sandman from like Spider-Man. Like he like forms up in this mist monster, right? And I'm trying to look for a weak spot of something. There's like these urns on the side. I didn't know if I was supposed to touch those. You were heading in the right direction with the force push. Okay. I tried so many different ways. I ran out of food, so I backed out, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and do it again. All right, I want to watch this gentleman's video here.
I've decided.
Okay, this gentleman is called AVV Gaming. We've never watched him before. I came across his stuff. Travis, real quick, says, real talk. I don't see how people can't see it's a trend. It's a calculated effort to make people go off single player, because in single player, they can't keep you trapped and you leave in time. Exactly. Hence why Skyrim back in the day, when Todd Howard said something so important, but yet people just skim over it. He said there's still people that play Skyrim and we can never get those people back because they love that game so much that they're still playing that game, right? They're playing mods on it that they're not paying for, hence why they put that store in there, okay? Because when a game is really good, people go back and play it and they're not getting microtransactions from it. They just make the good game. And when they make a good game, when they make a game and sell a game, instead of that is the prize, they're like, well, we lost the prize because they gave us $70. They gave us $60. They gave us $50. They gave us $40, whatever it is. But now we can't get them back because now they're enjoying that game for that price. Yeah. Right? And because they're selling millions of copies, they've made their money. What's your health at? My health is at, I want to say I put 3 or 4 into health. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I don't know the number. I have to go look at it. Playing the game on hard mode by not putting points into my HP bar until 20 hours in. Oh, no. I'm like 3 or 4 in. All right. So we're going to watch AVV Gaming. I don't know why it won't let me put his link. It doesn't pop up into YouTube. I'm going to try to fix that later. But we're going to watch this gentleman. His title of the thing is Why Crimson Desert is the Modern Skyrim. Okay? And I saw the title and I was like, I think I know where this guy's going. Because that's exactly how I feel. I feel like it's Skyrim. I feel like it's Red Dead. I feel like it's Witcher. Okay? Let's watch this and see what he says. I watched the first 4 minutes.
I've decided to make a video about Crimson Desert, and I think, if I'm correct, I am the first person to do this.
I like him already because he's being facetious. No one has made a Crimson Desert video up to this point.
Or at least in the last week. It shows you how original I am.
Yeah.
I got the game 2 days ago, and I've already put in 30 hours within a 48-hour window.
Same. I got it 2 days ago, whatever, and I've put in over 40 hours.
So
or close to 40 hours.
I've been pretty invested. You might think I'm playing this much for content or footage for the channel, but that's not it. The truth is, I'm hooked. I'm over 30 years old. I work full-time. I make 2 YouTube.
I'm over 30 years old. I don't work full-time, but I do have a family.
Videos a week. I'm married, and
Yep.
even my dog needs walks.
Yeah,
so
my dog needs walks
gaming
too.
time isn't easy to come by. And honestly, most new games don't grab me like they used to. Most open world games feel like a chore. Think like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The scale is there, but it feels tedious, like a checklist. It's open world on paper, but the magic just isn't there. I remember when Skyrim launched, I turned it on, got lost in its world, and couldn't pull myself away. It's rare for games like that to exist. Crimson Desert is one of those games, yet it has issues, major issues.
Everything he's saying right now, right? Everything he's saying right now, I agree with. Right? It has issues. But there's something about it, man. There's something about the game that I can't put it down, and when I'm not playing it, I want to be playing it. Those of you that are playing it right now, can you agree with me? when you're not playing this game, you're thinking about playing this game, right? It's not about the story. It's about your story.
Issues. Its writing is appalling and quests are surface level. Boss battles are
I don't know if writing's appalling, but it's not the greatest. But at the same time, you're just like there.
often unfair and difficult. Controls are confusing and overwhelming. Puzzles are incoherent and nonsensical at times, and there's bugs scattered throughout. Yet, I cannot put it down. Even making this video is taking great discipline as I just want to hop back on.
Right? He just wants to hop back in. Like, I'll be honest right now, Chad. I don't want to do the morning show. I just want to grab a coffee, turn on the game, and play the game.
This game frustrates me to the point of wanting to smash my TV. Tough bosses wipe me out, the controls feel clunky, and I'm left shouting that this just makes no sense.
I fought him last night. Now, they obviously nerfed him. They nerfed him. I was struggling until I realized what I had to do. And I was like, what the hell do I have to do to get? He moves so fast. He moves so fast. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's a good thing leading up to that fight as well.
I walk away in disgust.
Come on, Drummond.
And no more than 5 minutes later, I'm booting it back up. So I decide to leave the boss battle and go explore a random forest.
Listen to what he said again. Let me go back here for a second.
Hop back on. This game frustrates me to the point of wanting to smash my TV.
It frustrates him to the point he wants to smash a TV. But at the same time, he's like, I want to go back in. That fundamental thing right there is why I said I want to watch this guy. And that was a minute and a half in the video. I was like, that is the fundamental thing, right? I have a flashback as a kid when I was playing games, and Sarge's done this, I've done this. He tomahawked the controller, right? The NES controller, right? And you're frustrated with the game. But goddamn does it feel good when you actually beat it.
Tough bosses wipe me.
Or when you find something. You're like, you know what? I'm going to track up this whole entire mountain. Why? Because I want to. And then all of a sudden you're up there and you're like, what's this? And you find something and you're like, this is totally worth going up this mountain. And then you're like, what else can I find in this gigantic world? Right? And it's different. When I tell you, do not look up stuff. Do not look up stuff. If you see someone on the Twitter feed and it has a badass outfit, don't look up where it is. Just explore and find it. It's so much better.
Out, the controls feel clunky, and I'm left shouting that this just makes no sense. I walk away in disgust. Then no more than 5 minutes later, I'm booting it back up. So I decide to leave the boss battle and go explore a random forest, which leads me to a secret magic village. But as I approach, I get taken out. I can't get into the village, and I get mad and frustrated again. So I can't just visit this beautiful village and the game doesn't explain to me how to access it. That's bad game design.
That's not bad game design. That's not, in my opinion, that's not bad game design. Because you want to go there doesn't mean you're allowed there. You see it and they're like, it's so gorgeous, I want to go there, but you can't get in there for some reason. I don't even know where this village is, I'll be honest. I have no idea what village this is. Never been there before. Okay? But the fact that you can't get in there, it's sort of like walking up to the door or the castle, and the castle pushes you out and say, hey, you're not allowed here. You're like, well, how the fuck do I get in there? Figure it out. Climb the wall, sneak through a window, do something, right? This is what I love about the game.
But then I see a girl who offers me a way in if I help her on a quest. I'm intrigued.
There you go.
I meet her in an enchanted forest, and she
fuck is
asks
this?
me to climb a large living tree and acquire an item.
I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued.
I finally enter the village.
Or I'm intrigued. No? Okay.
And it's exactly as I imagined. So serene. So once again, from pure frustration to sheer amazement.
Am I going to beat the game? Do you mean beat the game as far as complete the story? Because I'm going to beat the story at some point. I'm going to put 1,000 hours in this game, Roadkill. I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to put 1,000 hours into this game. You guys are going to get tired of seeing me playing this game because I love this game that much.
This game constantly gives you reasons to leave, but always pulls you back. Asmongold is a great example here. He made a video playing Crimson Desert and vowed that it sucked.
Did he really? See, I haven't been paying attention to people playing the game. So Asmongold said the game sucked.
Later, another video entitled, I Can't Stop Playing Crimson Desert, where
Can't stop playing Crimson Desert. Game sucks. Can't stop playing it.
he declared it's a low 7. Now he reacted to a video where someone said the game's a bit of a mess. At the end he said this.
Today, I'm just going to log in and I'm just going to try to play the game. Whatever happens, happens.
That I said this on Thursday night before the game even came out. When I saw what the game is and when we watched all those videos, I said it on Thursday night. I said, just play the game. Just enjoy the game. Don't try to beat the game. Don't try to, as fast as possible, go through the game. Just whatever happens, happens. Like, I just unlocked my camp last night and trying to figure out. So last night there is massive problems with this game. It said build a camp. And I'm like, all right, well, how do I build a camp? Right? You have to go to the map. And then there's nothing on the map that tells you that you have to click on something. You have to scroll over with like right trigger to get to the third tab. And then it shows the emblem of the house on the actual map. Then you have to hover over the map of the house. And then when you hover over it, it says inspect at the bottom. When you inspect the house, it then flies into the actual game and then flies over the campsite. And then you have to tab over 3 times to the companions and then submit them to go do a mission. Nowhere did it say it. I sat there for a good 5 minutes and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Until a clip said, go to the map. It doesn't tell you that. Now, once the camp is set up, there's a gentleman who actually comes to your camp that you could walk up physically and then talk to him to send, so you don't have to go to the map all the time, right? And you can actually talk to this person to send people out on missions. So one moment I'm like super frustrated. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then the next moment I'm like, holy shit, this is a cool mechanic.
So even though he says he isn't loving,
Yeah, it's not problem solving though, Sarge. There are things in this game that they literally don't even explain to you. They don't say anything to you. They just said, set up camp. And you're like, okay. And there's an X on the thing. And you walk up to the X, you're standing on it, and you're like, all right, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm pressing buttons. Nothing's popping up in the menu system. Nothing's doing that. It doesn't, no little white text that says, go to map, scroll over 3 tabs, click on the thing, hit the inspect button. Doesn't say shit about it.
he's putting it back on. This is Crimson Desert. Neon Knight entitled his review perfectly. The worst game I've ever enjoyed. There's something about this game where almost everyone agrees it's not a masterpiece, yet people still end up playing it for over 120 hours. That just doesn't compute. Mind's Eye sucked, so nobody played it. Assassin's Creed Shadows was critiqued for being too repetitive, and many put it down around 10 hours with no regrets. But in this game, you will have regrets. I'm going to make a statement that may sound out of touch. Crimson Desert is the Skyrim of our time.
I agree with this. Because Skyrim wasn't a good game when it came out. People complained about Skyrim all the time. They're like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do, right? But then, like, because you didn't discover something in Skyrim until you went there for the first time. Then once it was there, then you knew it was there, right? But you had to go there. There wasn't a whole bunch of markers on the map in the beginning. There was like, you talked to a person, they told you about a village up in the north, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But then you started walking, and you would find things across the way. People had massive problems with Skyrim, but now you look at it, and Skyrim is one of the best-selling games of all time. People love playing the goddamn thing. It was just mid-ground, but then everyone was like, holy shit, wait till the mods and stuff come out for this game.
Hear me out. Despite its major issues, they both work against the game and, in some ways, for it. Let me explain by starting with the side quests. So if we look at Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2, both of these games offer incredible side quests.
Yep.
They are far better written than Crimson Deserts and have far more engaging plots. For example, in Red Dead Redemption 2, when you
Oh, the fucking dragon flying backwards eclipse.
take a bounty, you're given a cutscene, a story setup, and a specific location. When you arrive, everything plays out exactly as scripted. The dialogue, animations, and outcomes are all controlled.
This is where I stopped the video when I was like, all right, we're gonna watch him on stream.
It's a polished, consistent experience, but also a fixed one. If you replay the mission, it unfolds the same way every time with no variation.
Right, because the mission's the mission. You have to do that mission. I guess you could get there differently if you wanted to, but you have to end up in the same spot.
When I both play this mission on 2 different consoles, our experiences are identical. In The Witcher 3, you hunt down a monster by following clues, completing objectives, and finishing the quest. The experience is the same each time, but it's consistently high quality. Because the quests are so fixed and controlled, the game can focus on strong writing, bespoke animations, cutscenes, and detailed presentation, resulting in incredibly polished side quests, even if they don't vary on replay. So where they sacrifice player freedom, they make up for it by making some of the most in-depth, memorable side quests in gaming. Now, let's compare this to a bounty in Crimson Desert. The target is somewhere all the way over there on the map.
They just show you the
Go
target.
find them. That's it. That's your story. That's your plot. As a result, I ended up gliding across the ocean, scaling some cliffs, finding some secrets, and ending up in this desert plain. My adventure to this bounty was so unique to me.
Right. His path getting to where he was going is completely different than mine, and then you get sidetracked, and then you find something. Like, this game rewards you for looking and scavenging stuff. So I played Avowed. I played like 56 hours, 64 hours of Avowed. A lot of people didn't like Avowed because of the story and stuff like that. But I appreciated what Avowed did because Avowed hid stuff a lot of places. And if you explored, you would get some of the really cool weapons in Avowed. This does that 10 times better because the world is completely open. Like, you could find a crevice somewhere and find a hidden doorway or a cave system or new material. And you just found it because you were just exploring.
Even if I can't remember the plot. Mr. Mighty Plays did this same quest and ended up in the snowy mountains, came across a giant temple and climbed to the top. So if you asked us both, we would both say that we disliked the quest as it was unmemorable, but in reality, we created our own story on.
And this is exactly why I like the game. Because the way Water's playing it or the way Eclipse is playing it is completely different than me. And I'm making my own story. It almost feels like I'm living in my own Game of Thrones or my own Lord of the Rings.
The way, the same objective, 2 unique experiences. This is a major difference in philosophy. Doesn't this remind you of...
And this is not going to be for everybody. There's going to be people that play this game and they're going to be super bored, super frustrated. They're going to be like, it's fucking mundane quest lines and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's okay. You don't have to like all the games.
Skyrim. Its side quests were often bland and forgettable, with simple writing like...
The main story was terrible in Skyrim. Main story in Fallout 3 was terrible.
Go to a cave and retrieve my helmet. You rarely remember who gave you the quest or why you're doing it. It feels boring when you say it out loud, but you still have to get to that cave, and how you get there differs for everyone. Some scale cliffs, others pass through caves, some wander along forgotten paths. Most people forget the objective entirely because on the way to the cave they get distracted, an NPC needs help, a unique landmark catches their attention, or a tomb invites exploration. This is what made Skyrim so memorable, and Crimson Desert follows this design philosophy. On my way to get that bounty, I encountered 4 side quests, 3 secret puzzles.
Yeah, you last night when you watched me, I was like, oh, let me go do this mission. I was like, oh, let me go do this other one. Oh, let me go do this other one. Oh, I saw this other thing. And there's so much stuff to do. Go look at the tabs. Just go look at the tabs of stuff. There's 133 caves. I found 20.
And other distractions. It has that Skyrim magic that is only possible if the quest is more generic. In The Witcher 3, side
Uh-oh. AI artwork.
quests are stronger, with great writing, meaningful choices, and memorable stories.
Joking at Switcher.
But they're static and controlled, so you rarely get distracted along the way. They have to be in order to maintain that quality. In Skyrim and Crimson Desert, the quests themselves may be weaker, but that creates a different kind of magic. In The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2, the magic is in the quests themselves.
This is why I like Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2, I just love exploring that whole world they built.
While in Skyrim and Crimson Desert, it's the journey on the way. Witcher 3's quests are supposed to be great. Crimson Deserts and Skyrims are meant to kind of suck and just give you a reason to get out there and explore. They also have more freedom in their UI guidance. Crimson Desert uses an old school design where a marker is placed on the map.
See, the difference between this and like an Assassin's Creed? Assassin's Creed puts a bunch of shit on the map just to keep you playing the game, right? They show you exactly where everything is. They do everything where the thing is. They're just trying to keep you in the game. If this is doing the same thing, it's doing a much better job of just letting you explore and you choosing to stay and playing.
And
Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like Assassin's Creed is the same thing over and over and over and over and over.
To carve out your own path. Modern games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk mark out the most efficient path, which removes a lot of the discovery.
Right.
San Andreas used the old method and had better exploration, yet weaker side quests. GTA 5 mapped out the steps, told you which road to follow, its quests were on rails, yet they were of a higher quality.
Yep.
By making you forge your own path, Crimson Desert leads to unique discoveries like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Why does this game get praised, right? The story in Zelda is not the greatest. Open world, you're climbing a bunch of stuff. Why does this get praised, but the other game doesn't?
Meaningful exploration. Now, some may not like this type of design and much prefer the structured method of games like Witcher 3. Some may say that it's an outdated concept, but the one thing you cannot deny is that it definitely leads to more organic discoveries. Now, let's talk about exploration. Crimson Desert's world is massive and very little is
Massive is an understatement.
pointed out. You have to discover things organically, which means a lot of players will
I've been there.
inevitably miss a lot. I've made videos on missable quests in both Cyberpunk and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but those videos often get comments from people saying they found everything already. And that's true, because the game marks pretty much
They mark everything for you.
every side quest on the map, making them nearly impossible to miss. Games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and The Witcher 3 also fill their maps with icons and question marks, guiding players directly to points of interest. And the reason why they do this is because they don't want players to miss any content or waste time exploring. They want to pinpoint where you should go. Like go
Right, there's a difference between showing you and not showing you and making me choose to go down that direction. I could choose to go that direction. Here, you're like, oh, there's a thing there. I'm going to go
over
there.
here, there's something worth finding to remove.
There's times that you go places in Crimson Desert. You're like, oh, I'm going to go over here. You find nothing. You're like, okay. Or it's something really simple, and you're like, all right, cool.
The frustration, so to speak.
But the stuff that you found between point A and point B is the stuff.
So while these worlds are packed with things to do, most players still end up seeing everything because the game leads them there automatically. Crimson Desert doesn't do that. Its scale and lack of
Well, it does, but it puts it behind a menu system to show you all the things that are in the game that you can do.
guidance can feel overwhelming,
They
but
don't lay it down on the map for you.
that's also its strength. A video titled 10 Secrets You Missed in Cyberpunk likely won't include much you haven't already seen, because the game points it out. But 10 secrets you missed in Crimson Desert, there's a good chance you actually missed them. Skyrim had this same philosophy, as the map was entirely unmarked until the player got out there and began exploring.
Correct.
When you saw something in the distance, you headed towards it and were always rewarded with exciting discoveries. Crimson Desert gave me that same sense of wonder. I saw a giant chasm and I jumped in, which led me to a cave.
I know where that is.
I spotted a massive structure on a
Been here.
mountaintop. I scaled it and it rewarded me with an exciting discovery. So although many feel frustrated or overwhelmed as so little is explained, it leads to that true sense of adventure that is rarely seen in modern games, as they often control the experience to ensure quality. Now, another complaint I've heard is that the puzzles are complicated, and they are. Some of them leave me scratching my head, and I have to look online for a solution.
I haven't done that yet, but a lot of the puzzles that I've come across, you're like, huh. But once you figure it out, you're like, oh. I came across this, I don't know if it's like a sundial type of thing. Maybe you guys have seen this in the game or not. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but it's like a sundial. And the pieces move in the sundial. The thing moves around the sundial. And there's like a lot of statues around the sundial. And you have to figure it out. And it took me about 15 minutes. It took me about 15 minutes to figure it out. And then once I did, I was like, oh, okay.
But in a way, that's a good thing. Some games have puzzles that are so simple, like Dragon Age the Veilguard, that it requires no thought. In this game, for example, it asked me to flip a switch, and then my comrade shouted, "That sounded like a door opened."
Yeah,
the only
sounded
door,
like a door
in the room.
open.
On this
Did you hit this thing on the left side? Did you put this thing inside there?
puzzle, they gave me the answer before I
What's the point of putting a puzzle in the game if you're going to tell me how to do the fucking puzzle?
could even work out the solution. My comrades were just yelling, "Try putting it here. What if it goes here? Does this one look difficult? Does it look like I needed help?" A lot of games make puzzles far too easy, as they don't want to create frustration. Their thought is, if the puzzle is really easy, everyone can figure it out and they can stay playing the game. In Crimson Desert, I had to look up solutions and guides because others had already shared them, creating a sense of community and shared discovery. Figuring things out on your own is rewarding, and the lack of hand-holding means the game can generate guides and discussions for years.
I think they design it that way where people will make guides and stuff. But at the same time, you can just figure it out yourself.
If you look online, YouTubers like GamerRanks, Luke Stevens, so many of them are already making 10 things you should know about Crimson Desert. Here's 10 tips, 10 secrets. And the reason why they're doing it is because there's so much to cover. If the game was basic and structured and it required very little thought, these videos wouldn't exist, they wouldn't be necessary. Unlike more guided games, there's always something to explain. Exploration works the same. Unlike
this
more
thing right
guided
here. This thing, when you try to figure this out for the first time, it doesn't tell you shit.
Games, there's always something to explain. Exploration works the same with so many secrets hidden throughout, not pointed out. That's part of why Skyrim still has millions of guide videos online, even 15 years later. Its scale and lack of direction kept people talking, and even now, players still need help with things like the Dwemer puzzles or finding hidden secrets that have only been found 15 years after the game came out.
There's still puzzles people haven't found in Skyrim? Holy shit.
Crimson Desert seems poised for a similar lifespan. If everything were clearly marked and simplified, there'd be very little left to discuss or discover. By leaving things for players to uncover, it naturally fuels long-term content, exploration, and conversation. Just like Skyrim. The same applies to combat and builds. With a wide variety of movesets, leveling systems, armor and weapons, players have a lot of freedom in how they play. One common complaint is that it's too complex, and to be fair, there's so many buttons that it's impossible to keep track.
There's so many buttons, but you don't have to press them all. And what I mean by that is, like, it does its thing. You can just hold the buttons. So, like, if I want to do a move, I could just hold two buttons, and then as I let go of different buttons and still hold and press the others, he just moves into the combo of the stuff. It's really good.
of, but that complexity is also actually a strength. In many modern games like Dragon Age the Veilguard or Assassin's Creed Shadows, new gear is clearly labelled as an upgrade, making choices simple and straightforward. This helmet is higher level than the current helmet, so you just switch it out. You rarely need guides because the game tells you what to use. It's straightforward. When I play Dragon Age the Veilguard or Assassin's Creed or even Avowed, I see these big shiny chests like that are directly on my path, and it's like, look over there, look. It's like you can't miss it. You open it, it's like, oh, this helmet's a little better than the last one. I don't need to go onto YouTube and say Dragon Age Veilguard secret helmet because it's already planned out for me. Crimson Desert keeps everything secret, just like Skyrim did. Progression isn't as level driven, so you often need to search for stronger weapons, upgrade materials, and learn how to use different movesets, many of which can significantly...
I really suggest that people don't look up stuff. I really suggest people don't look up stuff because you're just robbing yourself of an experience that would be so much better. People like to look up stuff and they're like, oh, cool, because they want to get the thing. But if you're just going to play a game like that, then like, what's the point? You know, what's the point about getting the game if you're just going to have someone else tell you how to do everything? You know what I mean? Have you found all the puzzles in Skyrim 30? I haven't. I played through Skyrim. I played hundreds of hours, but I played through the story and then I stopped.
Change how you play, and because there's so many great weapons and items,
so I couldn't tell you if I found all the puzzles or not. I didn't 100% the game.
Hidden, like genuinely hidden in the world, it gives the game a lifespan not many modern games have. Bosses are challenging like they were in Elden Ring, and I got my butt handed to me many times. I had to whip out my phone and research tips on how to beat them, just like I did with Elden Ring. If they were all easy to beat and they required zero strategy...
Yeah, but why are you looking up stuff, though? Just do it. Figure it out.
Leveling or anything, we wouldn't even be taught.
Like, you'll learn the mechanics of the guy, but like, how do you ride a bike? Do kids nowadays, well, one, probably don't even ride bikes. Do they look up how to ride a bike, or do they just get on the bike? Like, I'm just confused. How do I pedal my bike? Right? Like, I don't understand why everyone robs themselves of stuff.
Talking about these bosses, there wouldn't be no guides. I guess what I'm trying to say is that
the reason people make strategy guides, and the reason is because they want to make money. They want people to view their channels so they can, right? So they play the game, they tell you the thing so they can make money.
People say are frustrating about the game certainly are today. Yet, it is a good thing in the long term, because there is so much to overcome and learn about. It will make this game relevant for years to come.
I agree with that. It'll definitely be relevant in years to come.
Just like Skyrim. Finally, the content. This game is packed. It can take around 400 hours to see everything, and even then, you'll still probably miss a lot. Some players find that overwhelming, and they prefer a more focused experience, arguing that much of the content feels bland and the story doesn't stand out. Skyrim followed a similar design, and it worked out because neither game requires you to stay fully locked in. In a linear game like Uncharted 4, taking a long break...
Great game, Uncharted. I love the whole Uncharted series.
Can leave you lost and disconnected from the story, often forcing you to restart. Skyrim, on the other hand, encourages drop-in, drop-out play. You can leave it for months and return without feeling confused.
Oh, I can't do that. If I stop playing, if I had 300 hours in Crimson Desert and I stop playing, I come back, I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll start again.
Because progression isn't tied to a strict narrative
flow. Come on, Pixel.
In other words, Skyrim's main story was so bland, forgettable, and just rubbish that you didn't care about it. You just wanted to get out there and explore. In the world. You could pick up and come back as and when you want. Crimson Desert's story is also very poor, but that gives you the freedom to not be tied to it. You want to get out there, explore. You can drop in and out. Because Skyrim's main story...
That's actually a good point. The story is not that good, so you don't really care about it, but you care about the rest of the game. Where if you were just hooked on the story, then you would just do the story and then put the game down.
It was so bad. Can you imagine if Skyrim released today and people said, I'm just going to play the main quest?
Oh no, Skyrim couldn't come out today. If Skyrim came out today, it would get shit on just like Starfield and everything else.
Because I want a great story. Everybody would universally give Skyrim like a 3 out of 10 and say main
100%.
Story was awful. But the main story wasn't there for that reason. It was sort of just in the background, and you were supposed to sort of ignore it and go explore the world. It's a sandbox experience, and Crimson Desert offers something very similar. It's why these type of games live on forever online. I can still make videos on Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and people continue to watch them years later. These games maintain strong player counts long after release, because they never truly end. There's always more to discover, discuss, and revisit. Compare
Agreed.
that to story games like Uncharted.
Story games are done. You beat a story game and they're done. This is an open world game you get to play and enjoy and continue enjoying.
In The Last of Us. They are popular for a short time and then they fall off. Not because they're bad, but because we've already covered everything. It's a linear story, there's only so much to discuss. Lastly, the developers have said they're listening to feedback and will be rolling out free updates over time. So the game isn't really finished, it will continue to grow and expand, reinforcing that never-ending philosophy. Bethesda games follow a similar path through fan-made mods. Cyberpunk launched with a rough UI, numerous bugs, and missing features like apartments. Over time, those issues were addressed, and the game is now widely considered a masterpiece and one of the all-time greats. It took years to reach that point, and a similar trajectory could happen with Crimson Desert. But the point is this, Skyrim wasn't universally loved at launch, and it faced plenty of criticism, with some pointing out issues.
I used to hate going to this place. I was like, it's all the way up on the mountain. There was no climbing mountains. You know what I mean? Like there was no grapple. You had to jump up yourself, and you're like, it's too steep. You're like, I'll go around the other way.
Similar to those raised about Crimson Desert. Critics were divided, and not everyone agreed it was great. That same kind of split in opinion feels familiar here. Crimson Desert is a 400-hour game, yet some negative reviews are coming from people who've only...
400-hour game, terrible refund after 2 hours. You can tell the game was meant to be an MMO made by a studio, very Korean, whose only project is another pay-to-win MMO. Feels soulless. This is such a wrong reply. A 0. They gave it a 0.
Played a couple of
they're lost. It's all right.
hours, still in the tutorial. That isn't really a fair evaluation. I understand that the game has issues, some are damn right unacceptable, and I understand some people will generally not like it at all, and that's fine. But when looking at all of its weaknesses in lack of handholding, generic writing, bland quest design, forgettable NPCs, and overwhelming content, it has all the same issues that Skyrim had that ended up being its strengths in the long run. What makes the game suck for the first few hours makes it a hit in the long term. That's why most of the negative reviews are from those who played for a few hours and threw in the towel, but when you hear someone who's played it for 100+ hours, they shower it in praise. You'll find that those who just pick a direction and explore,
fireworks?
take their time and immerse themselves, make their own adventure, they love it. Whereas those who want a more streamlined story,
Yeah, this is why I like it or love it, where other people will hate it because they just want to be told what to do.
and just follow the main quest, they don't really enjoy it. If you play Skyrim solely for its main quest, it's honestly an awful game. If you play it for its open world exploration and immersion, you'll love it. Like Skyrim, Crimson Desert rewards the time you invest. The longer you play it, the more it clicks and the more it makes sense. My prediction is that once the negative period is passed,
I'm 30 hours in, I'm still getting tutorial stuff.
and the remaining players keep investing the time, eventually the game will see a strong dedicated following and a long lifespan. It will never receive a perfect score because it isn't a perfect game, but its imperfections make it perfect for those who like this type of game, much the same as Skyrim. Resident Evil 9 is a far better game than Crimson Desert, technically. It's got better writing and more crisp gameplay, but it's a linear short experience.
Right.
But 10 years from now, the one people will still be talking about more will
I agree with that. I think people will still be talking about this game 10 years from now.
probably be Crimson Desert. To make my point, in 2011, IGN gave Zelda, Skyward Sword, a 10 out of 10 perfect score, and Skyrim an 8.5. In their eyes, Zelda was the better game, and maybe it was, but one game has been discussed and played
Yeah, no one talks about that. Nobody talks about that Zelda anymore.
for over 15 years, whilst the other is rarely mentioned.
Nobody said anything was wrong with linear. Travis?
Skyrim wasn't a certified masterpiece when it was released, but years later, it became legendary. I feel the same for Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is no masterpiece, neither is Skyrim, yet for some reason, we cannot put them down. This is why I feel Crimson Desert is the Skyrim of our time. Okay, so anyway, I'm signing off.
I like it.
I'm going to go back and play Crimson.
I think he's got a point. All right. Yeah, I found this. This is funny to me. So there was a tweet. We're not attacking anybody here. I'm just reading a tweet. Okay, the tweet says, the tweet says, I made yesterday about what I didn't like about Crimson Desert. Gained me a record of insults, so I wanted to add that Cliff is boring. I would love a character creator, and since the open sandbox with mediocre story, I would like nothing was locked behind it. How to change your appearance. You might be surprised to learn that you can actually change Cliff's appearance in Crimson Desert. Unfortunately, unlocking this feature isn't an easy task. It's hidden deep within the gray main camp system. There's everything you need to know about unlocking a character customization. I'm not going to read it, okay? But you can literally change your character inside of this game, okay? And you could customize your character. You can do dyes and different customization of colors of your armor, right? All of these things that you could do inside the game, but nobody knows because they're not playing the game, right? I'm not there yet. Now, is it stupid that the character customization is in a game 25 hours in? Perhaps, but it's something different, right? Like in Red Dead Redemption, when you get to the end game or the end city, there's a town in there where you can change your costume to different costumes that you didn't have before. It wasn't that they were selling all the cosmetics in all of the places all at once. Certain places could change certain things, right? So it's very interesting to me that you look at some and people, and the way that she said it was, the tweet I made yesterday about it, I didn't like Crimson Desert, gave me a record of insults. And because she got insulted because she didn't like it because of certain things, so I wanted to add that Cliff is boring, right? So there's a lot of people that are reactive to it saying that, well, you're ugly and your mom is ugly, right? Like they want to insult something because and someone's probably trying to explain, hey, this is what it is, and they don't like that. So it's so hard to see people that are actually liking something or just liking it because of whatever, or hating something just because it's cool to hate or whatnot, instead of just judging the thing on the game. Now, again, if you don't know that's in there, I didn't know it was in there. I didn't know you could ride underneath a cart. I didn't know you could do a lot of different things. That's why I'm playing the game and figuring out stuff myself, which is a very unique situation where a lot of people just want to hate on something. When someone's like, I like this game because, they're like, well, it's stupid and boring and you know, there's no customization. But then there is customization, but they don't know it's there. So they hate something, they don't even know it's there, and then, okay, customization's there. Now there's character customization. Well, they'll come back and probably say, well, it's stupid that's 20 hours in the game. Sure, but it's there. All right, let's go to Force Gaming, really need to talk about Crimson Desert.
Crimson Desert. So it's been about 5 days since the game released, and things have certainly been interesting. Critic reviews came out on Wednesday, and those were quite mixed. The Metacritic rating sits at a 78, with there being a fairly wide swing of strong opinions in either direction. Now, on one side, you got places like Shack News that gave the game a 5 out of 10, with this quote: "Perhaps the most damning thing I can say about Crimson Desert is that it is an enormous game with a ton of content, and I spend most of my time with it wishing I was doing anything else." Oh, okay, damn, dude. All right. Now, on the other extreme end, though, you got Vice over here giving the game a 10 out of 10, saying that Crimson Desert is the next big game in the genre. They did
And this is why I toss out hundreds and I toss out the low ones, because
caveat that with saying, like, if you like Breath of the Wild or something, but still, nevertheless, a perfect score. I think that's also crazy. And
100%. To me, there's no such thing as a perfect score game.
I genuinely really, really like this game. In fact, my opinion on my own review, which came out last Wednesday, was more or less that I think there's a lot about this game that's great, that I really love, but I also think a lot of people wouldn't enjoy the game and would get hung up on some of their larger flaws. Some people will bounce off and say, I don't get it. For others, though, I think it's going to be like an all-time favorite, memorable gaming experience. It's definitely been for me. This is hands down one
I agree with this take so
my
far.
favorite games of this year. And that is pretty much exactly what seems to have happened. Obviously, there was the wide breadth of opinions on the critic reviews, but then since the game officially released on Thursday, it has been a whirlwind of strong public opinions also in either direction. The game came out pretty much immediately to a mixed user score on Steam, and it sat there for the first couple of days, with the biggest quantity of complaints centering around the game's controls, the game's narrative, and
The game's controls are wonky.
a bit of awkward or unintuitive
Narrative I don't care about.
design, which once again, all stuff I called out and pretty much expected in my review because it's true. And having continued to play even more in the subsequent days, I still feel the same way about all of that. None of it's really changed. Although I do want to add just a couple of notes. So
Pros versus cons. You know what I mean? Pros versus cons, everything in the world. When you get a job, you might love your job. There might be shitty things about your job that you don't like. Some things that just really piss you off. But the pros outweigh the cons. And that's for any game. I'm not saying that Crimson Desert is a perfect game in any way, shape, or form, but for me, the pros outweigh the cons.
So first off, on the controls front, like, it's certainly a massive hurdle. It is something that people had been complaining about since there were first hands-on demos with the game a little over a year ago, and it's still a big issue at release. As time goes on, you certainly adjust, and I have grown comfortable with the control setup, but that took a bit of time. Like, I'm 110 hours into this thing at this point. It was in fact the case that when I first started playing, the awkward controls were one of the first things that stood out to me, and it actually, kind of funnily enough, reminds me a lot of gaming when I was a kid.
Yes. Yes. He's the other person that keeps saying it. The game reminds me of games when I was a kid. Not a kid in 2000. A kid when I was in the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it's definitely one big thing that's going to hold the game down is it has a non-standard control setup. So like so much of games controls, it reminds me of being back in the 90s when there was no standardized setup for like controller layout, and every game that
Right, not everyone used A to jump.
you played would have like a completely different, like the jump was
Like you had to learn the controls for that game.
different, the attack was different.
Hence why it came with an instruction manual.
The heavy attack, the interact, before that stuff really became standardized in gaming, it used to be that every game you played, it was like a whole new learning curve of just like how the controls worked, even if they were similar style games. This parts of how they set this game up remind me of that period of time before controls became kind of standardized and you had to learn a whole new configuration for doing similar things in similar games. No, it's back to the 90s basically.
Which is funny because no one complains. Go play a Bethesda game. Why is jump? A Bethesda game, why is jump? Why?
It's fucking, they certainly.
And then when you play Fallout 76 or Starfield or anything else, and you go back to another game, you're like, oh, shit.
Made quite a decision with how they've managed to put people off with their keybinds and stuff. In fact, I disliked the gamepad controls so bad, I swapped immediately to mouse and keyboard.
See, I
even
play
though
on
the
controller
Steam
all the time. I
pop-up
have no
recommendation says this game plays better on a gamepad. I said, whatever. You know what? I liked it a whole lot more. Like, I played for an hour with the gamepad, and then I restarted the game to go back through the tutorial with mouse and keyboard, and I've stuck with that ever since. I just like it a whole lot better. Yeah, it's still got its issues. It's still got its quirks and things that could be better. There are a bunch of things that you just literally can't bind, which is like inventory.
And this is why I'm like, why would you make stuff where you can't bind it? Which just seems like they pushed out the door there and they forgot to go back and change some things or add some things.
And opening up the skill page and
which is not good, by the way.
Like, I just don't get it, but whatever. Hopefully it gets fixed. In fact, there's already mods apparently out there that fix many of these issues, but regardless. Now, as for the narrative, it's remained largely forgettable. Fortunately for me, I don't really come to most games for a narrative. You'll know this if you followed my content for any length of time.
Try playing Halo or Fortnite after playing 20 hours of Minecraft? Yeah. Well, hell, go play Minecraft and then go play Hytale. That'll give you a mind fuck.
Because I just keep talking about it in a lot of games. I am primarily a gameplay, exploration, and systems focus.
Roadkill, the controls to me are not bad. It just takes time to get used to. The controls to me, not the control itself, but the control in the game is very floaty. Like when you're trying to look at something, there's ways around it. If you're playing on a controller, push your camera angle all the way up to 100. It fixes that for the most part. But it's like if you're looking at arrows on the ground, it doesn't mark it for you. But if you just like stand there, it says, "Oh, do you want to pick this up?" And you're like, "Yeah." It's very strange.
Focused gamer. Those are the things that I care about. If I'm being frank, I don't really care that the story sucks. It would be great if it were better.
Story's awesome, but not the most important thing for me.
Especially for the people who do enjoy it. But where the game shines, which is its sandbox elements, it more than delivers for me personally. That's
Correct.
The stuff that
Same.
I love about games. The gameplay, the exploration, maybe the narrative that's built within the world, but not the immediate cutscenes and the dialogue with NPCs. Again, I'm belaboring this point that I've made a billion times before. You might not believe me if this is the first video of mine that you've been seeing, but dude, ask anyone who follows my channel. I talk about this all the time. I really simply don't care for most games about the narrative. So, but yeah, I mean, yes. So yes, if you're looking for like a Witcher or a Baldur's Gate or a Red Dead quality narrative, you ain't getting it with Crimson Desert. That's a fact of the matter. But if you do like the idea of a big fantasy sandbox, this thing definitely delivers there. I love the sandbox aspect, to be frank, but some quests seem kind of cringe. I mean, most of the NPC dialogue in the game, I think, is kind of awkward. I think a lot of that is sort of a likely like a lost in translation.
Yeah, it's a Korean to
Viewing
American
this
thing.
as an open world fantasy sandbox is really, I think, how it's best viewed. It is really that kind of a game at its core, or at least I would say that's its strength. Its strength is its sandbox elements. But it's kind of the cool thing that I've liked about the game is there's so much you can spend your time on. Like I said it at the beginning of the stream. I've spent
it actually does feel a little bit like that, Ray. If you play like Rockstar games, if you play a lot of third-person games just in general, like when you run and like let go of it, your guy's still kind of like, you know what I mean? Like you're running and then you stop running and the guy's still kind of like slows down, like the momentum is there, like stuff like that. And then just staring at stuff. Like you can go to first person. Like yesterday I was doing I broke into a safe, right? The item is sitting in the safe and I'm standing in front of the safe, but it won't look at the thing. I can't pick the thing up that's in the safe. So I'm like going in third person, first person. I had to go to first person and then it saw it for a split second and then I had to hit X, but I missed it. And then I had to go back to first person and then hit the X. It's like a little shit like that aggravates the shit out of me. Cause it's like, why is it so hard? Why isn't there just a dot in the center of the screen and you just put it on the thing and it says pick up?
The past 3 days and I've not done a single quest, but there's been a lot of stuff that I have been doing.
And there is a dot now in the center of the screen, but when you're picking up stuff, you can't still pick it up. It's so weird. It's like they're overlapping of what it's looking at.
So yeah, the first couple of days, reviews were mixed online, and the online discourse kind of mainly centered around all of the game's biggest flaws, with people ranting and raving about it. But in the subsequent days, the tone has slowly started shifting. Everyone who just immediately bounced off the game and severely
Yeah, because those people are moved on. And the people that are playing the game are enjoying the game.
Liked it, they left their negative review and have seemingly moved on.
Yeah.
And now, in the process, the game has continued to grow.
Yeah, because people are playing the game, people are coming in and looking at people playing the game, and they're like, oh, it's actually not that bad.
and appeal to the people who do like it on the thing it's delivering. To the point now where reviews are currently mostly positive, believe it or not. As of this recording right here, the game is sitting at a 78% rating.
I think it's a lot higher than that now, isn't it?
A massive upswing from what it was initially. I think the low was around 50%. Like the first day and a half, it was really, really low. Now it's up to 77, 70.
I think you saw you can also hold down. Yeah, no, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hold down X to pick up stuff. The problem is what you're looking at, it doesn't pick up. It picks up, it'll like in front of me right now, I have my cell phone, the mouse, the Steam Deck, okay? And I want to pick up the phone. I look at the phone and pick up the phone. In the game, you stand in front of the stuff and it just picks something random in front of you and you're like, no, I don't want that. So you have to like shift over a little bit and then try to pick it up. And then sometimes you can pick it up and sometimes the X is there, but you're a little too far away. So you have to get a little closer. And when you get a little closer, then it finally appears it. And then it's just, the control scheme is just very weird.
8 as of right this second. I mean, that's a crazy improvement. Also, the player count has continued climbing over the weekend, with the game peaking on Sunday evening at 248,000 concurrent players. And really what's happening here, and what I think will continue to happen, is that the game is finding its people. Crimson Desert doesn't appeal to everyone, but for the people who do like what it's delivering, it really is something.
Well, I think that's actually a good settlement here of, I tell people not to buy it day one. I'm not saying it's me. What I'm saying is, don't buy it day one. Don't buy it, pre-order. Don't buy it day one. Don't buy it week one. I think the more people that see Crimson Desert, it's one of those games that people see people playing and they're like, okay, let me see if it looks interesting. It's running well now. They did a patch update. Okay, I'm going to pick it up.
Special, and I will continue to stand
right. Not buying it pre-order and not buying it day one is actually working here.
By that. Is the game good so far? For me, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Big, expansive, open sandbox RPG with like tons of stuff going on, lots of points of interest. But it's all, what I like about it is that all of that stuff has been really interesting. And I'm constantly coming across new systems and being introduced to new things you can do in the game. Think along the lines, I'm not talking about like the quality of the narrative.
As another thing, the different systems it implements like hours later, it's like, you're doing the fighting thing, you're doing the certain mechanics over here, and then all of a sudden they introduce you to town, right? So for like 10 hours, you were doing the one thing, or the two things, and then the three things. And then like 20 hours in, they're like, oh, by the way, here you go, here's another system. You're like, oh, cool. So now you're not getting bored with just that system. Then 5 more hours in, you're like, oh, another system. Now you can implement your weapons and customize your weapon, or, put the little nodes on your weapons to make it power. And they keep introducing you to more things.
Or anything, but think along the lines of the scale and the complexity of systems and mechanics.
They don't introduce everything in the first hour, 2 hours, and then like this is the same thing you're doing throughout the entire 100-hour campaign.
Mechanics of something like Red Dead. I think grand picture, this game's not going to be as much beloved as Red Dead is, not at all, because I don't think it appeals to as many people. It's a little too quirky. But it's that kind of game. Huge open world, lots of systems, lots to explore, lots of different things to discover, with more kind of over-the-top, almost anime-style combat in a fantasy setting. It checks quite a few of those boxes. But I don't think it's going to be as successful as Red Dead 2, or it's definitely not going to appeal to as many people. I assume this game will remain mixed reception for quite some time.
I think it'll obviously be successful. It's just not going to be Red Dead successful.
But I think over time,
it's like what, 54 million copies?
As it continues to find its audience that it does click with, it'll swing over to positive. I don't really ever expect it to be overwhelmingly positive, but I liken it to Dragon's Dogma 2. I think it's going to have that same sort of like spot in its history where there's some people who love it and a lot of people who either don't get it or actively dislike it. That's kind of the ballpark I'm putting this game in, for sure. Frankly, because that's just how I feel. Like, that's literally how I feel. I get why a lot of people don't like it. I'm loving it, like, sincerely. I will reiterate, though, I don't want to just glaze over this thing. Many people will still hate the game, and I understand why. So don't think this is me saying everyone who dislikes it is wrong. No, they're not wrong. They just don't like what this game is offering, really. I
don't like Hello Kitty. You know what I mean?
Don't have a taste for the stew, if you will. And that's fine. Like, not everyone has to find every meal or every game appealing, right? I'm not even rage baiting. I just don't see the appeal. Well, that's fine. No, dude, people can like different things. It's not a big deal. Like, you don't have to find enjoyment out of it.
Right. For some reason, there's so many people I forget what it was. A Destin. What game was it? Destin Liguri. There was a game that everybody was loving that he didn't like. Was it Ark? There was a game that was out there that, and I forget what it was. Everybody was loving it, and he was like, I don't get it. Why is everyone like this? I want to like it too, right? Like he was saying that I want to get, but he didn't like it. It's like, why are you trying to force yourself to like something, right? It's like shoving your foot in a 1-inch shoe smaller than what you're supposed to wear. It's like, these are great shoes, but they don't have them in my size. Well, I'm gonna keep wedging my foot into the shoe because while the shoes look great and I want the shoes that everyone else has, they just don't have my size, so I have to be uncomfortable and wear the shoes that I don't want to wear. Like, check out my shoes. You look uncomfortable. Well, yeah, because they're not comfortable. Well, then don't fucking wear the shoes. Don't try to force yourself into a game that you don't like. Obviously, try something. Go, hey, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll like this type of game, right? I don't like Dark Souls games. So I don't play Dark Souls games. It's that simple.
Things other people enjoy.
I don't think Dark Souls games are terrible. I just know they're not for me.
I really like surfing. Some people hate the idea of splashing around and getting tumbled in waves like a fucking washing machine. It's fine for people to like different things. Games
Exactly.
or otherwise. Games, books, movies, whatever. That's totally, we don't have to
That's why there's different
agonize
genres.
over other people liking things we don't like. Some people
I really
really
gotta
like
get that jump. I haven't got that jump yet.
4X strategy games. I don't. Some people really like hyper-competitive shooters like Counter-Strike. I don't. One thing that's definitely stood out to me here is how responsive the developers have been in taking on this
Super
feedback.
fast so far.
Initially, when a lot of the negative reviews are coming out and people were really focusing on their dislike for the control setup, they said, hey, you'll get used to it. It's like riding a bike. And while that is true, they seem to have backpedaled a bit on that. In fact, they put out a big statement that said, thanks to everyone for their feedback. We're listening to you. And they especially highlighted, we're going to be taking a look and making adjustments to the control.
Right, because it's not just 5 people complaining. It's like 500,000 people complaining, going, hey, your controls are a little wonky.
Controls. And I will mention this as well. I talked about this in my review video. During the review,
Did you know you could force palm in the air? You do a jump that makes you go up. No. I do know if you squat down and do a force that you pound the ground.
process, the devs were similarly very responsive. They pushed through
Which you have to use in certain situations.
multiple patches addressing some of the bigger pain points that the reviewers were complaining about. In fact, you not having only 20 inventory slots on release was in response to them responding to reviewers complaining about.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing. If you don't like something, you give constructive criticism. And if enough people that give that criticism, they go, oh, maybe we should fix this. That's how things get better.
The inventory. Dude, I would go into one point of interest and my inventory would be full. It just kept happening for the first several days. Then eventually, I think it was about 5 or 6 days prior to release, they put out a patch that they just straight up gave everyone plus 50 more inventory slots right out the gate, like immediately in the game. And you know all those little bags that you can purchase from various NPCs in towns and points of interest? Those bags that add plus 1 inventory slot? Those didn't exist either. So they like doubled or
See that?
quadrupled the available inventory.
Can you imagine? I that would be a completely different experience. I'm telling you that chest that they put in the camp that you can now move stuff over, game changer.
In this game in direct response to the reviewers saying, dude, there's way too limited inventory. Now there's still way more that they can do. For example, maybe there should be storage at the bank or maybe there should be storage at the camp. And I do think that's something that they've talked about of implementing at some point, but it's not in the game as of right now. At least it wasn't when I played yesterday.
That's actually an excellent point, Titan. Right? Titan says if it was an MMO, they will charge for inventory slots. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why there was no storage and stuff, because when it was an MMO, they didn't have a point of charging, you know what I mean? Like they put it on the actual character. So they're like, oh, we'll charge later. And then they changed it and they forgot to go back and fix it. Potential. Maybe.
Today. So we'll see if it is today. I'm going to be hopping back in later because I'm still obsessed with this game. I wonder how long before we hear future plans for the game. Oh, well, I'll tell you, dude, they've been patching like crazy. The day before release, One of my main complaints was they had really awkward waypoint placements. So for example, the main city had a waypoint that was outside of town when you teleported. You had to get on your mount and ride for about 30 seconds before you were actually in town. Literally on launch day, they patched and completely changed the waypoint so that it was in a nice central location. Like they have been so...
Hell, even that, right? Going off what Titan said about the slots, the teleportation, you know, to get around the map, they were so slim. Why? Because it was an MMO before. They wanted you at certain points because, think about this, there wasn't a teleporter in the city. Why wouldn't there be a teleporter in the city? Why would it be outside the city where you had to run into the city? Chat? Anybody? Probably because if it was an MMO and there was hundreds of people in the main city, having people teleport in the main city would slug it down. Hence why they put the teleporter outside the city so you could run into the city. But now that it's a single player game, they're like, oh, let's just put more spaces inside the city now.
On top of listening to feedback, another big thing was during the review process, inventory was really small at the beginning and like it would constantly fill up. So one day they just released a patch where they gave everybody 50 extra inventory slots, like just like that. Like they have been ultra responsive to feedback during the review process, and I'm guessing they're gonna continue and doing that post-release as well. I just can't believe how
this boss looks easy.
Quickly they've been patching stuff. It seems like now that the game is out and publicly available, they're similarly trying to be responsive to feedback, and we'll see what they end up doing with the controls, right? Even though I've now gotten used to them, they're going to change them and hopefully make them better. So, or at least give us more options for fine-tuning, customizing it the way that we want. At the very least, just let us make whatever keybind setup we want, whether it's on the mouse.
Well, they patched some stuff they didn't even tell you they patched. Like for instance, where that inside the manor, there wasn't guards walking around. Now there's guards walking around that weren't in the game in the very beginning when I started playing.
Keyboard or the gamepad. Just let us do that. It's really that simple, and that would go a long way. So yeah, over the few days since release, while everyone on the internet seemingly has just been spending all of their time arguing about whether or not this game is actually good or if it is the worst piece of crap to have ever released, during this entire time, I've just continued playing and having a great time. It's honestly been awesome. How is the game so far? I genuinely love it. Like, I think it's awesome. I'm not tired at all after 90
Look at that outfit he's got.
Hours. I can't wait to see more. And that's really the strength, is that this game just keeps delivering new stuff, and it is surprising in a lot of ways. For some people, what's surprising about it will be off-putting, like how difficult puzzles are. Like, I have no clue how to solve that puzzle we just saw. Absolutely no clue. There might be a piece of paper that literally has the answer to that puzzle that I find somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, the game's got shit like that. Or the fact that the game has gambling or stock trading, or the fact that you can do caravan runs or archery contests.
Caravan runs? Like in Red Dead Redemption?
Or fist punching contest. The fact that there's a whole black market where if you steal goods, you can go there and sell them to. The fact that you can steal what you can come across people riding wagons of goods in the environment, attack them, get in it, ride.
I didn't know this.
That to a chop shop, which will disassemble the wagon and give you money as a reward. And
what? I need this in my life. Where can I get this? How do I unlock this? I gotta move towards the store. I gotta find this person that's chop shopping wagons.
The list just goes on and on and on of like all like this. It's one of those. This game has it. There are trains.
Wait, you could remove the banners? You could take the banners?
In the game, they just have trains. I think they're in the desert. There's also hot air balloons. Yeah, dude, it's just a fucking. It's.
Wait a minute. Can I put my own banner there? If I can remove their banner, can I put a Gray Mane banner there?
It's just a fucking huge fantasy sandbox game, and it's. I love it. Like, you keep finding new things. Yeah. I don't know if you were here about an hour ago. I just learned, you know, like in Assassin's Creed, you can hop into hay barrels or stacks of hay to go stealth. You can do that in this game as well. Like, and
you could go in the hay barrels?
I didn't know that. I'm 90 hours in, but there's so much all the time. I'm finding new stuff all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not surprised by the mixed ratings, but I
know where he is. I've been over here.
The game, and I know a lot of other people will too. Just want to highlight a couple of things. So the exploration continues to be a lot of fun and very rewarding. I've had some really.
The person you can sell livestock to. There was a kid that I was also crying, gave him a goat, took that goat and sold it for money. I know which one you're talking about. I went across it. I rode past it with my horse, and it told me. I haven't done it myself though.
Cool experiences and gotten some awesome gear rewards simply by wandering around, not from a quest line or fighting a particular boss, but just wandering and exploring the environment has resulted in some cool moments and some cool rewards. So this is another thing that this game delivers so well on. Everywhere you go, you're going to see something in the not too off distance that's interesting and you want to go explore. And 9 times out of 10, it's actually something pretty cool and or like worthwhile, valuable. Let's see what this thing is. We're almost...
This area that he's in, let me tell you something. There's these bad guys here, man. They destroyed the shit out of me. Destroyed the crap out of me.
There. What? This is like
not these guys. I've been here.
Bandit camp entrance?
Yeah, this is cool.
Shit. Where am I? What is this place?
Yeah.
Dude, what the This is actually crazy. I just found this in the side of the mountain. You know how hard this was to get to, too? This is like some like vertical prison or something. Oh, ritual grounds. This is crazy though. I want to see if there's any, sometimes these POIs will have some good loot in them. So like a treasure chest or a boss. So I want to fully explore it. Did I check that room already? I think I did. But just double check though. Every one of these. Oh, here we go. What the f is this?
I have this.
Soul spear? No cap. No.
That right there is why I like playing the game. You find a place, you explore, and you're like, holy shit.
No. Dude, what the fuck? So there's weapon swapping with Zed, and when I do it with the spear as my offhand weapon, it does that launch kick. Dude, that is sick. Oh, I hope this weapon actually stays and doesn't disappear with, Did you see that? It shoots out the souls. Oh, bro. This game just keeps getting cooler the more I play. And literally, this was just a random POI that I saw in the side of the mountain that I wouldn't have seen otherwise had I not gone exploring here and just fucking around. I can't get over how amazing this spear is.
I have to go back. I was getting my ass handed to me inside this thing.
I'm like so thrilled to find this. This thing is cool as hell. I am still just so tickled about this spear weapon. And I love that the weapon
that's cool. I didn't know you could do that.
Kick like that. That's amazing. Also, combat has begun to click even more for me. I would say for a long time, like maybe even for the first 40 or 50 hours, the game kind of felt like a spam fest, with the exception being the
It's not. I figured that out real fast. I would say like hour 4 or 5.
Boss fights, but when you're fighting enemies in the open world, it felt like you could just kind of mash whatever buttons you want and you would more or less two-shot many of the enemies. That has really started to change as I continue to progress out into harder areas. The enemies are just way more difficult. They no longer die in a couple of hits, and you start to get a lot more elites, which are like these star enemies on your mini-map, mixed in with the general masses, kind of the fodder enemies. And this has forced me to pay way more attention to my resources, my stamina, and my spirit, as well as my positioning and the types of moves that I'm using, because certain
I wonder what the last boss is going to be like.
Moves will be better against certain types of enemies, and you really have to focus on this when you're fighting the elites. So I'm just enjoying combat way more now. Reminds me of easy Souls-like. Well, it is until you get to the bosses.
That shield guy.
I'm also the levels. Yeah, there's no
that
like
shield
level
guy
scaling.
Is tough.
As you move to the higher end
behind
zones,
him
things get progressively
slashes from the
way
back.
harder. Enemies will just kill you way faster. They'll be more aggressive so that you can't really dodge their attacks or anything. Like this is an elite and he's much harder than some of the other ones. But yeah, there's no kind of dynamic scaling. Things are just the difficulty they are. So either you'll be prepared and you'll have enough damage or health or defense to take stuff on, or you won't. And there'll definitely be plenty of spots where you won't. It's definitely much more action-packed. It reminds me a lot of the Batman Arkham games, or the ones that I'm more familiar with, the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War series, where you're kind of juggling through big groups of enemies. That's what this game reminds me a lot of. The big combat anyways. And then lastly, the sandbox nature, it continues to be the shining star here. And really, I would say if I were to point to anything in this game that has been kind of the pinnacle that's keeping me drawn to it and wanting to keep playing, it's that. It's the sandbox elements of this game. That's why I keep wanting to explore, and I've continued to enjoy the game. Scores of this game all over the place. Yeah, I kind of liken it to Dragon's Dogma. Some people are going to absolutely adore it, and it's going to be one of their favorite games. I think that's how I feel. Like I've loved this. It's been so much fun, and it's such like an interesting and unique game.
I think I found out yesterday, jerky. If you have jerky, Jerky's one of the best things you can have.
Other people are just not going to get it at all.
At least early
or
on,
just
I guess.
outright hate it. I expect the reviews to be mixed. I think over time they'll start to lean positive as the game finds more of its people who enjoy this kind of game. But because it's kind of quirky and it has like a non-standard control setup, it's a little awkward at times. It takes time to get used to and comfortable playing. And I think that alone puts people off. But then also the lack of narrative focus. People think of a single-player RPG and they're like, I'm going to have this awesome narrative. And there is a narrative, but it's just kind of whatever.
It's a whole different game
it's not
itself.
really the focus and the strength of the game.
Why does he have all those banners?
But if you come into this looking for like a sandbox game, a sandbox fantasy game, if that's what you're after and interested in, there's like very little like this, and it does it quite well despite its quirks. But yeah, overall, I continue to really enjoy and appreciate what Crimson Desert does well, and I'm looking forward to exploring and seeing more. Again, just a little over 110 hours as of right now. It looks like I've explored about a third of the map. It's just crazy.
A third of the map, 110 hours in.
Crazy. There's so much more to see, and I'm roughly about halfway through the main story quest line. I'm not exactly beelining either one, the map reveals or the main story. I'm kind of oscillating between the two, and yeah, this is how I'm really enjoying the game. Now, I might make some more videos here and there if any big topics or discussion things that I want to talk about come up with the game, but I think I've basically more or less said.
All right, there you go. Just go check out Force Gaming, link in the description down below. Click on his channel. Yeah, man, there's a lot going on with this game, and obviously we'll talk more about it as it unfolds, because people are finding stuff. We got a long way to go. Yeah, we got a long way to go. Let me see what else here. Jason said earlier, Epic Games today layoffs. Today, we're laying off 1,000 Epic employees. We're sorry to hear again that downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means spending significantly more than we're making. And we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoffs, together with over $500 million identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place. So they're firing people because you're not spending enough. You're not spending enough microtransactions, so they raised the price of V-Bucks, and now they fired 1,000 Epic employees because you're not spending enough, chat. You're not spending enough. How dare you? How do you expect these developers to continue making microtransactions for you if you don't buy microtransactions? Amazing. Let's see. What else is going on? Parents figured out how to lock down their credit cards. My son doesn't get anything until he's done with the Battle Pass. My son has to put the time in the game to complete the Battle Pass, and once and only once the Battle Pass is complete, he is allowed to purchase it because he gets his money back. Because what they'll do is they'll play a game, they'll buy it, right? They'll buy the thing, spend $10, and then they play it for like 1 day, 2 days, and then he doesn't play it again. And then he wastes the money. So he's got to complete it, put the full time in, and if he plays the whole thing, then he gets the money that he can get to put it in. It's the best way to do it. I don't want to tell people how to parent, but that is the good way to teach them that you have to earn the thing that you want instead of just getting the thing that you want. First says to do the same thing. Parents figured out how to lock it because I told my kids the same thing. Yeah. It's a good way to do it. Imagine being the most played game on planet Earth. Imagine getting $1.5 billion from Disney and $1.5 billion, whatever, from Lego. And yet you still have to lay people off because you're spending. Imagine getting all the advertisement IPs and stuff from all of these places and yet still laying people off. Imagine charging $25 for a skin for a bundle and still laying people off. Drummond says, how much stuff have you found in this game thus far? What do you mean, how much stuff? I mean, I've found a lot of things. I've got a giant bark shield. I have almost a full set of like this Lord of the Rings type of dark armor. I've found multiple weapons. I want to say I've found about maybe like 15, maybe 20 different types of weapons. Disposable and expendable employees. It's sad. Yeah. Look, I've been this way the entire time, Titan. When Bungie came out and said that the only reason we got the Black Spindle side mission or whatever it was is because people spent money on the microtransaction store, I said, go fuck yourself. I said, I'm not supporting you anymore. Is one of the reasons I don't support Bungie anymore. The blatant lies that you can make 15 million sales with a video game, right? Sell DLC after DLC after DLC, constantly making money, and then tell me that the only reason that you got this is because you bought microtransactions. Go fuck yourself. Your business plan was a free-to-play game. You charged $25. You charged battle passes and things. You did all this stuff. And now because people are not buying enough microtransactions, they get fired. Well, guess what? They were going to get fired regardless if they were making money or not getting money. Waterbear says the upper branch needed their boat gas money. Come on, 30. This is why it's good with money. I used to be a piggy banks full of money, spend it on something, and they wanted, I would get stuff for my birthday, for Christmas, but I wanted anything else. That's exactly it. My son gets birthday money and he gets Christmas money, and his birthday is in August and obviously Christmas is in December. He doesn't get much else throughout the year. So he has money and he's like, can I buy this? Can I buy that? I said, do you really want that? Are you going to play that? Are you going to need this? Are you going to do that? And you have to try to enforce it into them going, look, you spend this money. You're not getting any other money until you get a job, right? You have to do something, right? So then he's like, well, can I, do chores? Yeah, you can do chores. I'll pay you. Marvel Wolverine gameplay reveal incoming. Didn't they already show it? I don't think we need to see any more gameplay. What else we got here? New expansion for American Truck Simulator. When you coming out with it on console? Come on now. When you coming out with it on console? Uh-oh, what is this? Splitgate dev making movement shooter like Titanfall. If you thought 1047 Games was done after Splitgate issues, think again. In a recent clip uploaded on social media, we see 1047 CEO Ian make FPS great again, talk about new projects some of the studio developers are working on. In his words, it's a movement shooter akin to Titanfall and Call of Duty. Oh, he is making the same mistake. He's making the same mistake. Did you see the problem we have here, chat? Splitgate thinks that they can make Titanfall. Now, don't get me wrong. Splitgate had a good fan base with Splitgate. They ruined Splitgate 1 because of Splitgate 2. They said they wanted to bring Call of Duty back. And now they're like, well, did you guys see that Highguard, okay, who was going to be the developers of Titanfall and Call of Duty and Apex Legends, they didn't make a Titanfall. And they're like, we're going to make something like Titanfall and Call of Duty. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. I'll put this in the stories for this week. They're chasing right? They're trying. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it. Okay. How about not trying to make other games and make your own? Splitgate's actually really good. Tim Sweeney says Epic is losing billions fighting Apple and Google because it can afford to. Jokes that he might run into a serious financial problem after a couple of more decades. What a fucking asshole. That was January 24th of 2025, by the way. Right? This was 2025, a year and 2 months ago. This man says, Tim Sweeney says Epic is losing billions fighting Apple and Google because it can afford to. Jokes that he might run into serious financial problems after a couple of more decades. Go fuck yourself, Tim. You literally just fired 1,000 people because you're not making enough money from Fortnite. Unfucking believable. Do this for decades. The reason you have the billions of dollars, Tim, is because of us. People that liked your product and bought it. When they don't like your product, Tim, they don't buy the product. What is this guy talking about? Bro, look at... Okay. I'm going to go back. I'm going to read you this IGN from 40 minutes ago. Okay. This is literally bait. This is bait. This is bait. Crimson Desert has an incredible designed world that's a joy to explore, but I wish there was more to find in its beautiful locations. Are you exploring or just walking to the location? What are we talking about, IGN? Are you playing the same game as everybody else? Are you playing the same game? But I wish there was more to find in the beautiful locations. Everywhere I've been, I've found something. Everywhere I've been. Here's some... Devion says, well, you would if you guys played the game. You didn't have a problem with the Assassin's Creed Shadows where every location was a copy paste and literally marked every chest reward for you. Agreed on this. Even if you just silly stuff like cleaning a chimney, too much of it boils down to, wow, that's neat. What are you guys talking about? These people have not played the game. Scattered lore tablets everywhere. These people are broke. These people are broke. Aku says, I bet all of you are trying to figure out whose balls they had to fondle to release Wolverine gameplay. Hint, it rhymes with suck pool. This happens all the time when they're gamers, like something of the journos don't. Then they do anything to bring the game down. It's mind-boggling. Scatter lore tablets. There is literally lore things everywhere. You have the little helmet that you put on because your little lantern glows blue. Then there's a hologram. You load the thing, you put the thing on, and then there's a it's a tablet. These people don't play games, man. It's fucking unbelievable. Right. This guy says, are we playing a different game? I'm probably like 30 plus hours in and I haven't made it out of the first or still exploring. It's because there is so much stuff to find and do. How is this guy seeing the same thing I'm seeing? But these fucking guys are like, you gotta put Lord tablets everywhere. You gotta add the stuff. So stupid. Who hurt you? Tell me, mama, who hurt you? Since IGN started attacking this game, the game just continues to sell more. Copies improved, positive reviews, Metacritic scores went up. Yeah, gamers decided what succeeds and what doesn't. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. You're bluffing, dude. Are we even playing the same game? There's a lot to do, and I mean a lot to explore in this game. Yeah, I'm not clicking on that link. I'm not clicking on the link. I just talked about it for about 30 seconds because I don't have time to go into deeper into a story. We'll talk about it tomorrow. There's way too much to find, you clown. Did you even fucking try? I can't take 2 steps without finding something. Like, I swear to God. It's a vibe, but the map's kind of empty. Feels like you forgot to fill the party bags. Oh my God. What are we talking about? Are these people are jokes? They're not playing the game. Beautiful world, nothing in it. Elden Ring solved this 4 years ago. Oh my God. Great exploration game that needed more to explore. You're not playing the game. You're not playing the game. This proves that you're not playing the game. So ridiculous. You're not playing the game, bro. That can't even be a real thing that you just said out loud. All right, we're going to stop there. I'm going to go eat lunch. Then I'm going to play some Crimson Desert. And then we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for more Crimson Desert. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. Go down to the apparel store. You can pick up a shirt, hat, sticker, a cup. You can also go to the music. Go to iTunes, Apple Store, Spotify, Pandora, wherever. We got 2 albums up there. We got 60 songs. You can listen to my music for like 3 hours. There's so much music that we've put up there. Appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.
Once a Frank standing tall, a king upon the field. The hype was real, the trailers made the fans believe and feel. But then came the launch, oh what a bit of fight. A broken game, a shattered name, left stranded in the night. No scoreboard, no classes, just chaos in the storm. Promises of glory, but the game was far from normal. The maps were wide, but the hearts were small. Battlefield 2042, how could you let us fall? 18 months to fix the pain, patch by patch, but the scars remain. A player base lost, trust betrayed. Can the next one bring back the good old days? Empty servers next big thing? Can they rebuild the battlefield and make it sing? 18 months to fix the pain, patch by patch, but the scars remain. A player base lost, trust betrayed. Can the next one bring back the good old days? We remember the battles from Bad Company to 3, the teamwork